Oh my God. If I
Bro's just
touch
down for the
him,
vibe.
remind me
Do
not to touch my
him.
face.
Just don't touch him
It's,
just don't touch him. Don't let him lick you, bro. Don't let him lick
it's
you.
that he's now that he reminds me
He
of
just wants like attention. Bro, get down.
now that he reminds me of Raiden. I feel like
It's like his doppelganger.
that's like my son.
Your adopted son, bro.
Bro. Look, he's mad big,
Yeah, he's looking
mad
for the
curious,
attention.
ready to fuck around.
He does give Raiden energy.
He
It's
does,
funny, the
bro.
other day, I forgot what is it that we were doing. Sorry. I forgot what is it that we were doing, but we just started laughing because Thor did something and I was like, "Oh my God, that's Raiden." And Morgan like was like cracking up. I don't know what it is. I think he was like pushing through something and like just being super energetic. Yo, I was like, "Damn, bro. Like it's true."
Me and Amaris see it all the time. Every time we're here and he does something, because he's a baby who
Yeah.
definitely likes to eat.
For sure.
Because my boy,
He's real about his food and about his hydration.
Yeah.
He does not play games.
That's Raiden. I'm not kidding. He
like,
loves
his
water.
His
Agua. He be drinking water in the nighttime. Like if we haven't gave him water all night.
That's wild.
Yeah, he's fucking crazy.
Just not to sleep.
He's crazy. Yesterday, knock on wood, bro, he woke up once.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And the night before that, he slept the whole night through. So I don't know if we cracked something.
He's turning over a new leaf.
Let's see, bro. I just feel bad for Amaris, bro.
And she doesn't sleep.
She doesn't sleep.
That's not okay, bro.
She doesn't sleep.
I'm like praying for the day that like both of them like fully sleep.
Yeah.
She could finally sleep. Not that she will, but like she has the options.
Yeah. I think she gets to rest.
Right.
Yeah, she doesn't sleep.
Rest her eyes a little bit because that's crazy.
Yo.
I would be delusional.
She is sometimes delusional. Like sometimes she needs to take like power naps throughout the day, and I'm like, yo, I get it.
And that's how she gets her rest. That makes sense because I was always wondering. I'm like, she for sure doesn't sleep at night. How does she function?
It's like Batman, bro. Batman just takes naps throughout the day.
She's nocturnal. I get it.
Yo, there's nights where like I come home from the gym, and you know, like you walk in, you're like, I'm on an endorphin high too most of the time. So I'm like, yo, Ronnie, you're excited because you just got a bomb ass workout, but read the room. Like, you know,
everyone's exhausted.
Yo, everybody.
This is hell.
Just chill, keep a straight face, and get to work.
Yeah. So you would usually work out at night?
No, I work out in the morning.
Oh, okay. So I'm like, I would figure you probably get mad energy after you work out.
Yeah. So every morning, so I wake up at 5:30 every day.
Crazy.
You have to because
kids.
Yeah,
okay.
It could be. People don't do that, but I'm like, my guilt gets me. Like, because if I wake up at 7 or 8, then that means I go to the gym after, and then that means Amaris now is dealing with the kids. They've been up for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Yeah, and she won't say anything.
Obviously, but that's not fair. Like,
well, yeah, and I'll pay the price like subliminally.
Subtle way.
Yeah, subtle.
You gotta do it subtly. You can't let them know you're pissed because whatever, you're working on yourself and stuff like that. But yeah.
Exactly. So I play the game, bro. So I wake up early. I go to the gym. The only thing is, like I said, those rough nights, bro, it's so funny. Because sometimes you can't help it. Like, you're mad excited. You've been up. Everybody's just waking up. You've been up for like 2 hours.
So you're like ready to go.
I'm hype. And she'll just be like, yo, shut up.
Like, bring it down. No one's talking right now.
My bad. So,
yo, I
can't.
It,
bro.
Oh, man.
Okay. Let's get back to you.
Okay.
Oh, damn. I got like 4 ways I want to go.
Okay, shoot.
Let's start with high school.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because I can't put you in a box. Who were you?
I was the artsy kid because I went to high school, art and design.
Yeah. Where's that at?
It was on the east. It still is on the east side. I think like 50 or 60 something street. No, 52nd and 2nd, I think. Around there.
How old are you?
I'm 92, 32.
32.
32. No, I'm
Ronnie, edit this part out.
Nothing.
Real quick. I'm gonna edit this part out. My first ex-girlfriend went to that school.
Really?
Yeah, her name was But she was my age, so I don't know. Maybe there was a.
I did know a lot. Wait, you are 2 years older?
I'm 35.
3 years older.
So she
So if
definitely
I was
went.
a freshman, then
She
she
was a
was a
junior.
junior.
Yeah. I
I
mean, if
would
it
need
doesn't
to
ring a
see
bell,
a
yeah,
face.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
good with faces, but not names. Unless I've like actually hung out with them. I
yeah,
hung out with a lot of people like in my grade, and then a handful of people above, because I was in a lot of classes that were like AP classes or whatever
yeah.
that were with
So you were
that
like
class.
you were a really good student.
I had to be. Both my
Oh my
parents were
God, you're
teachers, so there was like,
teachers.
yeah, there's no excuse. Like you had to be good at school. So I always did well in school. Um, but yeah, in high school, I went to the art high school. It was like basically your regular high school, and then you have art classes, and then you pick a major. There was everything from photography, fashion, um, there's people that did like AP art, which was just basically like fine art, like you
Yeah,
just paint all day and stuff. I didn't make it to that class, which I was kind of like bitter about,
yeah.
but whatever. And then there was
Wait,
film.
you make it to that class based on your skill, or is it like like what you
Yeah,
know?
based on your skills. So what to get into the school, you need to take an art test, and you also have to submit a portfolio.
I
So
don't
in
even know what that. What is an
yeah.
art test?
So in it was actually really funny. I went to the school before, obviously it was like eighth grade. They have like an entry exam for you to go in, and it's like, yes, you have to submit like your school, like all your grades and stuff like that, but you have to come in with your portfolio. You have to like showcase a portfolio. They review it, and then they provide you like a design test. I don't remember much of the design test. I know one of them was like you had to design like an album cover, like
Very,
a music
that's
album
very
cover.
2000s.
Very
Yeah.
2000s, bro. Like, and then like you use your like favorite artists to do that. Then they had different prompts that you had to do and like draw or what have you. They like graded you on like composition, on like perspective, like all of that kind of stuff. And then a few days later, they let you know, or weeks, I don't know how long, they let you know if you got into the school.
So
And then
you wanted to join this like
yeah, that was like probably my second school that I applied to. I wanted to go to LaGuardia. The only thing was because it was a specialized school, their portfolios that you had to submit were due way before I even decided to like, finish off a portfolio and apply and stuff. But I had a lot of friends that went to LaGuardia. I had a couple of friends that a lot of friends that I made in obviously in high school and stuff. And then other friends that went anywhere, everywhere else
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and stuff.
So
But
you
yeah,
were mad artsy?
from the get, bro. Yeah.
So what like was there something specifically that you wanted to be?
No. So it's interesting. Like I always grew up drawing a lot. And I wanted to draw in high school because I was like, oh, there's art high schools I can go to and like specialize in. Cool. Um, and I didn't know that there were other options until I started high school. And I was like, oh, I can go into film. I can go into like fashion. My sister went to fashion industries.
Yeah.
So she was always in fashion and stuff like that. I was like, nah, fashion is like whatever.
Was your sister a good student?
Not better than me, but she was
Okay,
she was
good.
decent.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
stuff. We had to keep good grades in the house. That's just what it was.
Yeah.
And stuff. So yeah, so by the time it like the first year you kind of take all of these different drawing courses, kind of like your prereq
Yeah.
kind of courses and stuff like that. You tested out a little bit of everything, and then from there like you could choose like which path you wanted to take.
Yeah.
And there was like I said, photography, film, there was fashion, there was that AP drawing class, there was also architecture and stuff. I forgot which one was my top ones. Photography was definitely one of them. Um, the AP drawing class, and then I think architecture. But then I thought about it, and I was like, architecture involves a lot of math, and I don't want to do that.
Oh, so they
Like,
realized.
fuck that math. So I was like, yeah, it's a dub for that. So I just went the photography route.
Photography.
Mhm.
I should have been asking
Yeah.
you about that shit,
No,
bro.
I'm like photography then and photography now.
Sure.
Like it's like I started like right when the first like SLR cameras started coming out, like the really nice like Canon ones.
Okay.
Like, now you're like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
not the selfie ones back in the day,
No,
or like
no,
the
no,
little
no.
ones that you would, but like the actual like
Yeah,
photography
the thing that you.
cameras. Yeah. So those were like the first. Well, that's when I like first started.
Nice.
Like they weren't doing film or anything like that, but
Yeah.
that's when they were doing like the digital route and stuff. So I did that
So,
for like all 4 years.
and you were all in on that.
Like when you picked your major, like that is your like we had back to back classes. It was like double classes for your major, and you would stay there for like how long was the class? I don't even know
50
now.
minutes.
Double that, and that's what you would focus on.
Okay, so you during that did you do anything for after school?
My after school, not really, to be honest. Like my after school, by the time I was a senior, I did like the yearbook club.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. But not really.
So it was like, what was your day? So it was school and then what? Home?
At home, bro. Or like hanging out with your friends.
Yeah,
After
yeah,
school.
yeah.
That was my vibe.
Okay, okay, cool. I just want to get a vibe for like,
Yeah.
what was your thing? Like,
yeah, that was really it. I'm like trying to think if I did any extracurriculars. I always wanted to, but the timing was always off. Like I always wanted to join like the volleyball team in high school because I loved volleyball. But they practice in the summer.
Okay.
And I was in DR every summer. So I remember begging my parents. I was like, yo, please, like just 1 year. I never have any extra things I could do. Like I remember trying to sign up for an internship for like photography. I remember it was in the not the World Trade Center. What's the other one?
The Empire State Building?
The one on 34th? Empire State. No, it wasn't Empire State. Yeah. So I remember the interview was in the Empire State, but I was like, oh my God, it's so cool. Poppin'. Like mad popping on. Like me and one of my classmates got accepted to like interview and stuff like that. And I literally went there, did the whole interview, and she's like talking about my hours, and then I had to bring up like I'm in DR for the summer. She's like,
sorry,
it's not gonna work. And I remember going home like crying up a storm and stuff. But I left it like pretty limited on like extracurricular.
Got you.
Like activities. We would just like figure stuff out as kids or like hang out.
Yeah.
And stuff. But that was a vibe.
Were you gaming during high school? Like in a console?
Oh, I always gamed. Oh my God. Speaking of gaming, do you know what we got today?
What?
Our PS3.
You guys got a PS3?
So like I started my vacation with it on 23rd, and I don't know what it is. Like I was like, this vacation, I don't want to do shit. Like I just want to like hang out, like really go back to like my child self and like purely enjoy. And I remember one of my favorite games playing was Army of Two. Like,
oh yeah, you guys were always talking about it.
Deep.
Oh, you got it?
We dead.
Oh, y'all got no fiend. Y'all
just started it. Morgan had to go or whatever, and I was like, all right, I guess we gotta go. But it literally came, and I was like, nah, we're gonna go pick it up because they try to deliver, then they sent it to the UPS store. So I was like, let's go pick that shit up today. So we went, picked it up. I set it up right away, and I was like, I hope it works. Because, you buy that shit, like, refurbished. It's not going to be new and stuff like that. So I'm, like, crossing my fingers that it's not, they didn't jib me. But I was like, whatever. I got it from Walmart. It has to be, like,
somewhat.
So we got it. I literally plugged it in right away, and Morgan had already bought all 3 games.
Let's go. Like, what are the 3? So the Army of 1, Army of 2. Like, Army of 2, but like the
first
1, 2,
the
3.
second one, and then the third one. So I was like, nah, let's get all of them. Let's play it in order and shit. Like, I was very, very adamant about it. And this was like days. And then finally it comes in the mail and stuff. We set it up, and it starts running. Like, you hear the
CD?
On. Yes.
Oh my God.
And come on, and I was like, and we just started playing. I completely forgot how to play.
Of course, yeah.
But it was like it was hitting all the feels.
Let's go, son.
Yeah, it was so good.
It's the black controller, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the PS2 was the gray one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and the PS2 I had too. Like, I was playing. You know what's funny? I was playing games since a little kid because my dad was really into like video games. He had like the original Nintendo. He was very big on Nintendo, like the original
yeah,
and stuff. And before he was a teacher, he worked at like, it was like I don't know if it's like an electronics store or like one of those big box, like not
Circuit City or one of
I think
those.
it's like Sam. It's not Sam's Club. Maybe it's Sam's something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Before it like officially closed out.
Closed.
But
Yeah.
he worked in one of those. He was like a manager there. And I remember growing up, we had a Virgin. It was only for display, and it was a Nintendo, and it literally had a crap ton of games. If I could draw it for you, so it had like a big. It was this big giant console.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this, like a big. Um, think of like your PS4, for example, like
Yeah.
it has like a flat box.
Mhm.
Think of it like that, but then it was much larger. It had a flat area here, so you could put your TV on it.
Wow.
And then it kind of dropped down, slid down on the sides.
Yeah.
And it had all the names of all these different games. And then it had this one red button where you press and it'll switch through all the different games. It had a section on the sides to hold the two controllers, and then
Fancy.
a side for the gun for Duck Hunt.
Oh,
So it came with Duck Hunt. Yo, it was one of
what is this?
it was Nintendo, but they
Yeah.
didn't sell it. Like it wasn't made for retail. I think it was just made as a display.
Almost like a marketing thing.
Yeah, I think it was one of those because I remember like I was talking to Morgan about it, and I was like literally in the depths of Google trying to search like Reddit, like what is this console? I was like trying to like name it something else. It had I can remember all of the games because once we got that other console that had
the one all the
all of
games,
the
the
vintage
emulator,
ones,
yeah.
there was like all of them started popping up, like baseball, like it had all of these, like was it ice climbers, like all of these different ones, motocross, like of course they had like Super Mario there, Duck Hunt, like your original. They had Popeye too. Have you ever played?
I've never played Popeye.
God,
It's RPG.
No. It's like just like a regular like game. They had Kung Fu. Do you remember Kung Fu?
No.
God, bro, you're slacking. It was so
Who
good.
are you, man?
It was so good. That had like almost everything. And then my dad still had the regular like Super Nintendo, the, like
the scene.
That. My grandmother, his mom, had a Nintendo 64. So whenever and she loved to play it. So like whenever I would go to visit her, she would like be like, okay, go guys, and we would play Nintendo for 64. She had Zelda, she had Donkey Kong, like all the whole thing.
And she liked to play?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
Your mom? I mean, sorry, your grandma lived in DR.
No, my grandma from my dad's side, she lived in Yonkers.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Like my dad's side of the family, they're like more in the like Bronx, Yonkers. Yeah. So when we would visit her and stuff, like go to her house, that's what we would do.
That's so crazy. Mm-hmm. So so that makes sense where it comes from. She's been playing since Yeah,
so we always played like games and stuff like that. And then we were big gamers because of it. My dad the same. But by the time it came to like the PlayStation era, that's when my dad was like, nah, I'm gonna keep it original. He still does. Like he still has the Nintendo back in DR. He took it with him. When the Wii came out, and like we were obsessed with the Wii and stuff. At the time, my sister's like ex, he hacked it, so you can get all of the old Nintendo games on the Wii.
For real?
Mm-hmm. I don't know how, but he hacked it or found somebody who could hack it. And they did that, and my dad just kept it like as a gift. My dad just like kept it, and he still plays to this day.
I think crazy.
He still has that big ass console. I have to see if he can send a picture of it because he was never gonna throw that out. And I'm sure it still works.
That's fucking
to this day.
It had to be a demo, like almost to market like all the games so people can see what it is, right? It has to be that.
Yeah,
because I've never heard of that.
Honestly, like the way I explain it, like no one understands. So I'm like, I don't know if it was like sold anywhere. And then when I was searching, I couldn't find anything. So I was like, God damn it.
You got to find like somebody that used to work in like a electronics store.
Right? Yeah. And then like see if, I don't know.
That's weird.
It has to be something, but.
That's pretty cool though, bro.
Yo, it was great. Like I gamed a lot. My sister did too. And then it was like me and my sister too. So you automatically have your player 1, player 2.
What?
So.
That's so random.
Random.
Yo.
Yeah, that's what we did. And we just played different games growing up. At least it was like when we were chilling at home.
Yeah. And what's the age difference between you guys?
Me and my sister, we're 6 years apart.
Okay. So similar to me and Remy. Mm-hmm. 5 years.
So
okay.
It's a good.
Were you guys, there's no way. When you were like, I think me and Remy funny story about Remy. Remy was such a badass in school that he would. I think I could be making this up, but I'll come. Yeah, we were in PS 115. No, you grew up further out,
I
right?
went to 187, bro.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was,
yeah.
like, up there.
Wait, 187.
187. PSIS 187.
Yeah,
Well, that's the school I went to.
I used to work there,
Really?
but later
Oh,
on,
okay. I was
for
wondering.
PAL, I had a program. They used to send me over there.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's awesome.
But Remy was a badass in school, so he would try to get me out of school. So like that was like the one time that we were cool, and then when I was 8 and he was like 13, he fucking hated me because of that age.
Yeah.
And then
like the phase that they go through.
yeah. And then I was fat, and he was like he was trying to make the basketball team, so he used to get so mad because I used to just want to eat all the time. And then he's like, trying to be a baller and trying to be athletic. And he'd be like, this fat ass. And then like my mom would force me to go so I can get exercise. Yo, he hated me, son.
The one person he had to drag around. And
Yeah, I was that guy. And then finally, I think when we got super cool, I think when he was 21 and then I was, 16?
Okay.
Yeah, when I was 16. After that, then we became cool, but
yeah,
we used to fucking
go at it.
Yeah. And then I needed his clothes. When I hit 16, I was like, well, I need his clothes, so I got to play ball.
You know what's funny? Like me and my sister, well, my sister's tiny. So like she would steal clothes from me.
That's
and then
funny.
Vice versa. But like
Yeah.
she would steal clothes from me. And I remember that's like one of the main things we used to argue about all the time.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And like to the point where I literally begged my parents to get a lock for my room that only I can open up from the outside.
Because of that.
Yeah.
Oh, my brother, I think he gave up. Because I never forget, like I wore some sneakers I wasn't supposed to. And then like, damn. We used to take these glass pen, like they're not glass. They look like glass. They're see-through.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to put them in the heater so they can pop and scare the shit out of people. And my dumb ass.
The blue pens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but not the round blue pens. Mm-hmm. The ones that are like an octagon almost.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so those we used to put in the heat. They used to pop. My dumb ass, bro. The ink, I was right next to it. I forgot that I put it there, and the ink dropped on the shoes. And I wasn't supposed to wear them, bro. I never forget, bro.
Did he beat your ass?
He beat me so bad. And then after that, I was like, yo, look, I'm going to keep wearing your sneakers.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, like now you know.
I'm like, yo.
It's not a secret.
Let's just figure this out, man. I'm like, this is going to happen. If you tell me which ones are completely off limits. At one point, Remy, he had so much sneakers. He had like 40 pairs of sneakers.
That's wild.
Yeah. So I was like, me, I'm like,
you're wearing all those
bro,
sneakers.
that's what I'm saying. So at one point, I'm like, yo, tell me what's like, and my cousin Chico, who lived with us, also would wear his sneakers.
So y'all all were the same size? Like,
yes. I mean, for a small period,
okay,
but for that small period,
we're like going
bro,
in.
I was going in, bro.
It's like, I'm going to make sure I wear every single one of these damn sneakers.
It got to a point where Remy would buy 2 pairs of sneakers.
So one for you.
So he's like, one for me and Chico, like, yo.
Might as well be giving them away. Like,
I remember, like, I forgot what number, but like the 13 bunch of sneakers he gave us. And yeah, like it took a while for me and him because of the disparity, like to get, I guess to get along for a long period of time. We never fought because my dad would fuck us up if we fought. So I was like, well, let's not fight no more.
Yeah,
bro.
you gotta if you're gonna fight, it's gotta be quiet.
Yeah. We would bicker. You know?
Yeah, I that too. Like when me and my sister got along generally. When I became a teenager, I mean, she had a temper on her. Like, so she would we would bicker and like bitch a lot, but like we generally like got along. Generally.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Like I remember even like as teenagers, and there were times where I'm like, yo, I would rip her head off, and vice versa. Like she thought I was the only smart ass because I was. So yeah, but I would say like generally we got along. It wasn't until like I was like older and like she was going through her shit where I was like, nah, you're wildin'.
Yeah.
Now we're beefing.
Yeah.
But like now it's like
you guys are tight.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna end up going to Nashville a couple times now, right?
Sure,
right?
For sure. I've never been.
I've been.
I'm mad excited. Yeah. So I'm really excited and stuff. And she seems excited. The boys seem really excited too. Like the way that she did it and stuff. Like She I think I told you that she put like she was decorating the Christmas
Yeah,
tree
yeah,
and
yeah.
she put the note and stuff on the tree for the boys. It was basically a picture of the house
Yeah.
and them on it and stuff, and they were really really excited. And she told me, she was like, I literally was like so relieved
Got
that they were excited, because the moment she would see any hesitation or like damn, like they
Yeah.
weren't happy,
Yeah.
then she'd be like, oh, I guess we're not moving the next.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm like, no, it's true, because if they're not happy, then there's no point.
Yeah. And the
You know?
timing you said was great because they
Yeah.
were both.
Yeah. So Liam, he's finishing school, like his school now. I think it only goes up to 5th grade.
Okay.
So he graduates in the summer. And then after that,
That's
they're
perfect.
gonna, yeah. So
Yeah,
my
yeah.
sister's already, I think she was already in the process or had already been in the process of signing them up for school over there, and then signing them up here as a backup just in case, because they
Yeah.
don't know what timing and stuff.
It's not mature.
Yeah, I know. I was like, when she told me that, I was like, let's fucking go.
Damn,
Like,
son.
I'd love
I
to
would have
see
never
it.
thought of that. Yeah.
To see it.
Right.
So that's too, like, she was in a plan. She was never the planner growing up and stuff, but she's been planning the process. I was like, just as long as you plan, bro, like, just plan it out. Plan it out.
You're are you, Morgan is more of the what's the like me and Amaris, I play more of the long-term goals and role, and then she does more of like the like she does like the for one for sure the fun stuff. So she
Yeah.
plans all the fun stuff, because for me, like I can do the same thing every day. She's like, and then she does more like the short-term stuff. Like
I can see that. Yeah.
what, like do you guys have like a role?
It's interesting. Like, I want to say yes and no. I'm very much a planner in my head. I'm not one to like jump into something and just be like, fuck it, we'll figure it out.
Mhm.
Morgan's very much the type to be like, no, fuck it, we'll figure it out. Like, that's how he approached, even like with the house buying situation. I remember because we were living in Dykeman, and we like the conversation got brought up of like, oh, we should start, and this is how he works, bro.
Yeah.
He's like, once he brings it up,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
once, like he could have, you could tell he's thinking about this for like months and months, or maybe not. I don't know. This is in my head.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the moment he brings it up, it's like, I already know he's already like, fuck it, let's figure it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Type of thing. So when he brought up, oh, like, we got to start thinking about moving. We have to, just start thinking about like the future and stuff. And not to say that I wasn't thinking about that, but I like to be more methodical in like how we move. Like, okay, well, we need to save. Are we sure we're saving enough money? He's like, no, fuck it. Like, we can do it. Like,
What?
He's like, if we don't do it now, like, the market's just going to get, like, I spoke to Ronnie, the market's going to get like worse or whatever. And I'm like, okay. I'm like,
For the record, I was right.
no, you were right.
I was right.
That's why I was like, that was the one time where I was like, all right, Morgan, like you got this one and stuff, because we did buy at a very, very good time. Like we snuck in there right before like interest rates went up and like shit was like
And
starting.
prices went up.
Yeah.
Like your house is worth a good
It's a
amount.
good amount.
Like I'm
now.
talking about over what you paid for it, by the way.
Which is crazy, because I feel like we kind of overpaid for
Yeah.
the house a little bit.
Yeah.
Not to the point where like we can't afford it. Like
Yeah.
we can afford it, but we did like come up a little bit.
No, yeah. So you guys definitely came up, and we spoke about that. You
Mhm.
guys knew over the a little bit like not overvalued, but right at the value.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, from that moment to now,
It's up.
yeah.
Yeah. Especially with all of like, I know this side just sold, this one that they just built and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like it's definitely gone up.
You know
there.
what that one sold for?
This one sold for 6 something,
Yeah, bro.
I think. And automatically, because that needed a lot.
I know,
of work.
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's basically the replica of this house,
Yeah.
but like not redone.
Yeah.
At this point it's redone
Yeah.
and stuff. But the people here are smart. Like the owners, I think they're the guy's a contractor. So he
Smart. Yeah.
did it himself. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, I'm just gonna do it myself and stuff.
Little
like
by
that.
little, probably.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do, by the way. Like what he's doing.
So like what's the timeline for that?
I don't know. So we renewed our lease. We had to renew a lease because I was like, I'm not gonna go to another apartment to then.
It's a lot of moving.
Yes.
But for what if you're gonna go to another apartment?
Exactly. Yeah. So we just signed in November.
Okay.
I just spoke to Maris yesterday about it, but yeah, I want to find. Ideally, I want to find like a ranch home.
Okay, like
A
single,
single floor, in theory, is what I want.
like here in Rahway or
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay,
So one thing I do tell Maris is like, you guys are here, and Hav and Angie are
like
here.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
like
we're here, bro.
yeah,
Like this is where our roots are
yeah.
planted at this point. We're
So
committed.
I don't. My goal is
Yeah.
not to. I'm not leaving Broadway.
Okay.
Like, so I told the Maris, like, even like we could have. I remember us talking about it. We both looked like, nah. Like, we were gonna go. Linden had a new.
Linden has some nice
Yeah,
places.
you know. Oh, you know where thing is where
Where Wonky is?
no, that restaurant we be going to.
Oh, the Peruvian spot.
No.
What's up? Another one in Linden.
That is it's cool. Good music. That we go in Linden. Good, really good music. It's like damn. Let me see. Humble.
Oh,
Humble.
I love Humble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you see those new buildings right before you get to Humble.
Oh, like where every time where we park is like right around there. It's like behind it.
No, so there are buildings there, but not those.
Oh,
It's like if you're driving to Humble, there's brand new buildings next to the train station.
In it then.
Yeah, but there we were gonna move there. It was popping, but again, it's like I always tell Maris. She's like, it's right there. I'm like, yeah, but you see, we're 20 minutes away now. So now, if I be like I can't just pop into your house.
Yeah.
Even though we don't barely do, but it's just that like
but the option.
exactly, man.
Like the invitation's always there, but the option is there.
Yeah, and we're not. I'm telling you, we're not gonna. When was the last time you saw Manny and Luz?
Yo, it's been a minute.
They
I mean,
don't-
no lies. They were here for the Friendsgiving.
Okay.
But like for us to just be like, oh yeah, yo, come through. Yeah, it's been a minute.
That shit don't happen no more.
And they're not far.
They're only 20 minutes away. That's my point.
Yeah.
So I tell everybody that I'm like, if you don't live like 10 minutes, 5 to 10
like
minutes
the radius.
away,
It comes in
Yeah.
like a radius.
you might as well live in another state because you're gonna see each other the same.
So be
amount of
living
time.
back in the Heights or
Bro, it don't matter. You're gonna see that person the same amount of times.
That's so true.
Like, look, Jeremy. I'm like, Jeremy,
Jeremy's
live,
far,
bro, Mount
though.
Vernon. Mount
That's
Vernon.
far.
I was there, bro, on Saturday,
Yo,
bro.
that's like an hour to get there from here.
No, bro. From here, it's like an hour and like 30 minutes. Because
No, you're right. Because even from here to like, let's say the bridge or like to
it could be like
Heights,
45,
50 minutes.
And then remember, I'm going to the Bronx, so there's traffic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
You
what I'm
gotta take the
saying.
Cross Bronx up there.
Not the Cross Bronx. I take
Something else.
I either take the Hudson or the I-87.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the Hudson's not as bad.
No, the
but-
I-87 sometimes,
Yeah.
but yeah, shit is deep, bro. Deep. So I told
he
him.
plans on like being there forever.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But
Go ahead, bro. He should come to
No.
Rahway.
bro, you
It's
know,
happening.
you know,
Rahway's happening.
you know, I'm trying, bro.
Start planting the seeds. I
Yeah.
mean, it worked on us, so
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
you guys, once I think we started hanging out. I don't. Oh, when we got fucking hammered, that you guys drove me and Olaf home.
oh yeah, I remember that. That was the first time I met you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But ever since then, I'm like, oh, Morgan's cool. I'm like, Daniela's cool too. I'm like, oh, they fit. Like, you guys fit. Like if like me, Manny, Angela, Germ, like we would spend because of PAL. Me and Jeremy especially, and like
So you guys
Angela,
all met in PA.
bro. all of
Minus
us.
Manny. You guys went to school together or no?
No, I mean Manny went to high school together, but Manny also came to PAL. Bro, at one point, like working all together, we had like Amaris and Angela were together.
Total, bro, because Bridget was there
Bro.
too, right?
Bro, I would try to get Bridget.
That's such a vibe. I wish I met you guys then.
Bro, we were
So
crazy. We were crazy. It was me, Manny, Jeremy, Olaf, Alberto, Bridget, all working in the same center. Yeah.
Like chaos.
Bro, it
but
was
like
crazy.
the fun chaos
Oh, yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
Like,
We used to
that's awesome.
have these like summer camp chant battles. And we were like, we
What
would
does that mean?
like we would have chants and battle each other. Like almost like I'm that's it. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. We would
like it
have
means exactly what you're
like
saying.
real summer camp shit. Like we would get into it, bro. Like we would have chant battles. It was almost like a rap battle, but with
Like
kids, and you're chanting because you can't rap. So we would have chant battles. We would have knock. I don't know if you ever know. You know what knock hockey is?
No.
It's like a wooden board, with two hockey pucks, and like there's a little hole to hit the
Mhm.
ball, the puck, whatever. But there was like a box right in front, so everything had to be at an angle. Yeah,
Oh.
so and it wasn't like a back and forth. It was like you get a shot and the other
And
person
it's
gets
a
a shot. Yeah,
table
it's a table.
type
Mm-hmm.
thing. I
Mm-hmm.
think I know what you're talking about.
Bro, we used to it
Go
used to
ahead.
get real emotional. We used to have
Committed.
walk up music. Like we would have the fog machine. Yeah, it was that kind of
That's
vibe.
mad
It was
cool.
that kind of vibe. We used to. The kids loved it, but it was like it was for
Just for
us.
you.
But the kids thrived.
The kids were there to just to watch, but it
Yeah,
was really for you guys.
bro. The year Michael Jackson died, that
Mm-hmm.
summer, Manny loves Michael Jackson, like his music. So man, yeah, Manny is
So
like
random. I wouldn't have
bro.
thought that.
Manny loves music. I don't know
I
if you
could see that.
he
No, I
he
could
like
definitely see that.
loves me. You know what he did once, but he never pursued it. Never forget. He grabbed the guitar and started playing with it.
Was that when you guys were a band? I remember hearing
I'll
that
talk
one
about
song.
that. We were a band, but no. Like randomly, he's like, and then he started like learning how to play. Yo, that dude, yeah. He one day
So
told
he's
me.
like musically inclined.
He one day told me we were just generally talking, and he told Amaris, one of us, that he's like he sees colors when he hears music.
Oh my god! So he has a synesthesia, I think is what it's
I
called.
don't know, but he love. Point is, he loves music. He was the first one also to teach me like how to listen to different instruments in a song.
Or like pull it out.
Yeah. So he would be like with bass, he'd be like, look, you hear the bass? Like in Aventura, of course, he loves
Yeah.
Aventura. So he would listen to a song and he would listen to like one instrument for the song.
Have
And
you
then
ever learned how to play an instrument?
nope, bro. I didn't all the things that I've learned, I learned like
Through the
after
hood.
I learned, yeah, like anything. If it was that,
Mhm.
always. But anything I learned like scholastically was literally. I'm talking about like books I've read had
Mhm.
literally been post age 26. My first book that I read was like at 26.
Oh,
I was
gotcha.
never.
Yeah, I wasn't a big reader either,
Yeah.
but I remember in middle school we all had to pick an instrument and learn how to play it.
And you,
Like I played the clarinet. Not well. I
yeah,
never went because here's the thing: in middle school, they had the group of kids for whatever reason. The top two classes, because they in 187. Now that I think about it, I'm like, damn, that's kind of a fucked up way. Like I get it, but it's kind of a fucked up way of like organizing classes. But they specifically organized you in like through like let's say group or classes 1 through 4. So we had groups of like, let's say you're in 7th grade, you're in 7-1, 7-2, 7-3, and 7-4. 7-1 and 7-2 were the smart kids.
yeah,
The rest were like, you know,
yeah.
badasses or like class clowns or the people that were just like struggling in school. So I remember for I think it was like 7th grade where they kind of broke you off into like either a group goes to music class or a group goes to art class for whatever reason. And I never wanted to do music. Not
Yeah.
that I didn't like it, but I rather have done art.
Yeah.
But they pushed me and I don't know how the decision was made. They pushed me and I went to music and stuff. And I remember they were drawing names and you basically got to pick your instrument, depending on like your last name and when it came up and if what was available. So there was like the flute, the clarinet, the saxophone, the trumpet, and then percussions, like whether it be like the drums, there
Yeah.
was like the big, like what is the big one or whatever?
Oh,
The
the
big trombone. Trombone? Is it?
whatever.
Like
Yeah,
no,
the
yeah.
marching band thing.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that too. So I remember my first pick was the saxophone, but there was only like 2 saxophones and that was taken. I was like, fuck, all right. And then it was the flute and those were taken. And then it was my third choice was the clarinet. I was like, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Let's
I did that for
go.
like what it was like since 3 years or so. But then like by 8th grade, I used to cut that class and then go to the art class.
Yeah.
Because also my friends were in the art class too. So I was like,
The
yeah.
homies.
Not that I didn't have friends in the music class, but like my best friends
Yeah.
were in the art class. And I would like go to the art teacher and be like, please, because we'd have like the music festival and I was like in the art program there. And like we basically did like all the murals and stuff like that for every music festival and stuff. So I just like found my way into the art class instead.
Did you ever cut class in high school?
All the time. Like it was like my was it sophomore, no, sophomore junior year, I can't remember, but the last two periods were my art classes. I always excelled in my art classes, when especially when I was in photography. The teacher loved me. I loved that teacher too. She was bomb. She was the
Yeah.
nicest person ever. And I would cut that class literally like almost every other day, still hand in assignments and like do all my work, but like I'm just sitting there
Wow.
editing photos for
Yeah.
like an hour and change. I'm like, I'm good. I would like literally be across the street. There was like pizzeria or like McDonald's, like
Yeah.
hang out with friends and stuff like that. Um, yeah. And I I almost got away with it until some dude in the class, he was like a quote unquote friend, but then once he did that, I was like, everyone looked at him like, yo, that's
Well,
fucked
he
up.
snitched?
He snitched. Like I was finally in the class or whatever. And I forgot what was going on. I think the teacher was like scolding him about something, and then he was like, well, what do you mean Daniela's like always cutting class or whatever, and everybody like in front of everybody, and I'm there like, what? And I remember my like that report card, and it was the only time where I got a 65. She could have failed me, but she didn't. And she looked at me, and I was like, I went from like literally like a 98, 100 in that class to a 65 from one semester to the next. And she was like, that's gonna be a warning, Daniela. I was like,
You got me. You got me.
yeah.
You
And
got me.
yeah,
Damn, son.
snitched on me.
And you used to just chill with your friends.
Just chill. I was just chilling, bro. Like that's what I would do
Yeah.
and stuff. And then my best friend, she went to what's that cathedral high school? It was literally like down the block from
Yeah.
my high school. It was so funny. Like when we were in 8th grade, like everyone was finding out what high schools they were going
I
to. We were
remember
getting
that,
like
man.
emotional because
Did you have a book that you had to like when I had to apply for like high schools, like they gave me like a book.
of all different high schools.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
And then like it had like little excerpts on like everything, and then you pick whatever.
Like which your
5.
top schools, and it was like literally an encyclopedia of all the different high schools.
Yeah.
Funny thing, apparently the cover for those books, they in art and design, they were designing them.
Oh
Like the
shit.
students and stuff would design it. Because I remember one of my first assignments there was to come up with a design for the front of that book.
That's pretty cool.
Never got it, but it's fine. But
Yeah,
it was like
that's actually cool.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
It was like created by the students. But yeah, we got a whole book and stuff like that. And I remember that day, like we were like finding out, people were like crying and stuff. Obviously, like I found out that my best friend Monica was like, "Oh my god, we're not gonna be in the same high school." We looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, it's down the block from us."
See you later.
We used to see each other all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
That was real like casual shit because there was
Yeah.
no phones.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we had like I remember my first cell phone I got in 8th grade, but it was like the very basic, like
What you had
like
like
I had a basic like flip phone.
got you.
Yeah, but I know how like a lot of my friends had like the Nokias, like those old school ones and stuff. Like, yeah. And then by the time I remember we were in high school, that's when they had like the sidekicks and
Yeah,
like, all of that
that's
stuff
when-
was coming out and stuff.
Yeah, because when you were in middle school, I was in high school. I didn't have a phone. I think I had a phone senior year, which makes sense because that means then you would have been in high school already.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it was wild times.
Yeah,
man.
bro.
Texting, and it was like each number you had to hit.
Yup,
like,
yup,
multiple
yup.
times.
But yo, dude became lethal with that shit. I remember seeing texting for the first time. Like somebody, I think it was who was it? Fuck. You never met Haz, right? Haz is Noemi and Axarina's brother.
Their brother. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I met him like once.
Got
like
you.
through you guys or something.
He was the first one that was like texting. Remember, he's out. I'm like, why?
What is this? What is this
Like,
form of communication?
He's like, nah, you just send a message. And I'm like, and they're like, yes, but they charge like 10 cents a message. And I was like, damn, like that's mad money. And yeah, and you would just see him like,
That's how you know it was only for emergencies back then.
Bro.
The minutes.
but he was
you
the
had to wait
first
until 9
9
p.m.
p.m. bro. Unless you have like the Nextel, but then you use the walkie, the son, the 9 p.m. Yo, call me back in 5. Call me back in
like,
5.
You run out of minutes too. Like I remember always running out of minutes, and my dad would be so tired. He's like, "It's not 9 o'clock, coño!" Like he would get so mad. It was Such a great time.
Yo, I
Yeah.
remember those days. The flip phone. I remember AIM.
Yes. What was your aim?
It was Just Blaze because that Jay-Z song just came out. I didn't even know what it was. It was Just Blaze and like some other and like
Were they E's threes?
No, but it wasn't Just Blaze. It was XX Just Blaze
And
XX.
then the @ sign instead of the A.
I definitely did that, and I definitely rep my block 171. Always, bro. Even though I was never allowed to hang out outside. Yo, my brother was such a typical like latchkey kid.
Oh, he was like outside all the
Bro.
time.
He was nonstop. Like my parents, I guess, were so like, we gave Remy too much that they wouldn't let me out.
That's so interesting because you would think like after the second kid, that's when like parents are like, all right, whatever. They loosen up a little bit. I mean, you tell me.
Yeah.
Like you like after you have the first kid,
Yeah.
you're a little bit more like protective, and then by the second kid, they're like, oh, whatever. Like.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I think it is? I don't know what my parents did, but for me, I think with Raiden and Abby, it's like I know what to expect now.
Valid.
Before with Abby, I'm like, yo, is this shit
Everything's
normal?
new.
Yeah, it's like, yo, is this shit normal? Like, is that now with Raiden? It's like he's gonna. It's not that you don't care that he walks, but you know it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Unless God, some wild shit. But like you just expect it, so you're like, okay, yeah. Like we still get excited that he walked, for example.
Yeah.
But you knew it was coming.
Oh,
with Abby, you don't believe it. Like you'd be like, nah. Like, what do you mean this thing that can barely like move?
Like we just created.
Yeah.
What do
like,
you mean?
She's gonna start walking? No way. Yeah. With Raiden, it was like, yeah, we seen this before. Like, just get there, bro. Right. We're gonna be excited, but like, we're like enough. Like, get there. Like with everything, I'd be feeling bad. Oh shit. The cool thing is now they're starting to have their own personalities. So now Raiden be hitting us with shit that we'd be like, oh shit, like Abby.
Now you're starting to see it too, because I'm like, he's getting a little bit older. Like you can, like he's being a little bit more free and stuff. So that's interesting to see.
And the boy girl dynamic, like they're just me and America's never forced to do what the fuck you want. Mm-hmm. But they just naturally, Raiden is just very, very like.
He gives me very much boy energy.
Yeah, boy energy, man.
Like, through and through.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't care. He'll like very rambunctious, like not afraid. Like I'll jump. All right.
Yeah.
Like that day we went to where Morgan unlocked Raiden.
Oh my God, yeah. Basically.
The lake.
Yo,
he was like going head first into the water. I was like, oh shit. Ever since that day, I was like, who is this child?
Yo, bro.
Like, he unlocked a new version of Raiden that day, and he's like fearless.
He does not give a fuck. But even it's great. Even the way they play, like Abby, like if you give them both magnetiles, Abby is gonna create like different structures.
Yeah.
Very nice, and she gets more creative than me. Like you could tell me to make something with magnetiles, I make a box.
Right, because they're all box shaped.
Yeah, Abby, which is so cool. I read a book that it talks about how like I think it's like when you're like 19, 20, you lose all your original creativity. Yeah, and then when you're like 28 or 30 around there, you gain you don't get that back, but you get the ability to create based off like things that you take away.
Or like things that are you saying like things that are already there?
Already there, yeah.
Okay.
So you take from what's already there and you create, but at 19, like you can create, like maybe of course things are gonna like help you like figure things out, but like it's more original thought at 19. Like your brain is still like it still has an imagination, like but
it's still creating because it's still developing, which makes sense. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, so like Raiden likes, if you give him the magnetiles, he wants to create either something to tear down. Valid. Or we got with the magnetiles, we got like tubes now that you can connect to the magnetiles, and we got like these like metal balls.
Yeah.
So now he likes me creating different structures, so he can throw the ball. Yeah. Just to speed it up. And if you give Abby that same thing, Abby again just wants to create like cool structures. So it's cool. Like you give them the same task, they live in the same house.
Yeah. And they just do and will create two very different things. That's like awesome to watch. It's like a constant like experiment. Mm-hmm. Like a real life experiment.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's awesome. It's cool. It's scary.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see because it's like, I mean, you be nervous too.
Mm-hmm.
So you always like on edge, like,
Yeah.
yo, what the fuck?
Oh yeah. My anxiety would be like on 1,000 with
Yeah.
like 2 small kids or
Yeah.
like a one toddler alone. I would be like, holy crap, what are you
Yeah,
getting
bro.
yourself into? You know? So
Shit's
shit is
and if
wild.
that motherfucker comes out anything like your boo thing,
Yeah.
that motherfucker's gonna be swinging from this shit.
Bro,
That shit's
that's what I'm afraid
yo,
of.
you should be.
I'm like, can I just get a like real chill child? Like
Nah, bro. Nah.
my fear is that my child will be fearless. Like
Oh, I
at a
can see
certain
that.
for a certain age period, right? When they're older, then that you can use that to their
Yeah, of course,
benefit.
of course, of course.
But when they're that young, like for Morgan's niece, I feel she lacks all fear. This girl is one of the fearless like kids I've ever seen.
Yeah.
She's Abby's age.
Yeah, yeah. They're like a month apart, I think.
Yeah, and like she like that's what scares me. She has no fear. No fear of people, no fear of like yeah. So I'm like, that's really scary.
Yeah, bro.
Because I mean, they're super innocent too, but like the world's not. So that's why I'm like, oh, that's really scary.
Yeah, and there's gonna be a lot of that, like protecting. I was in jujitsu last week, and I was trying to figure out Abby. I don't know if it's because I don't know.
Mhm.
I wasn't like, I guess now knowing how we live in, like now that we're like what, second or third generation, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh okay, so I was poor. I didn't realize it because my parents did a good
Don't
job.
realize, yeah.
But you like you're not doing great. Like you in that,
Mhm.
like you think, because I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I got my shelter. Like
Yeah.
you got fed.
Like you feel fine.
Yeah,
You know,
you're
you
good.
feel the effects of it.
Exactly. But during Christmas, I wouldn't get as much shit.
Mhm.
That's fine. I don't know if it's that when I see my kids with so many gifts, then I'm just like, this is too
Throws you
much.
off.
Or then I'm like, or are you like, I'm like, is it me? Like really, like honestly being like, yo, they're getting too much shit. Gets me nervous. Like, damn, I don't want them to be like, like expect always some stuff or
Yeah, like the level of expectation is like up here.
yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
feel like with when you have kids already, like I feel like everyone's goal is gonna be like, all right, make sure that they always get a little bit more than what you had.
Yeah.
But I get the overindulgence side of it too.
And I don't know the balance either.
Yeah.
And then like, so I did mention to someone in jujitsu, and he, I guess, at least for now, he was like, well, he's like, I don't know the answer. He's like, I got
Yeah.
my kids are a little older than you, but he's like, one thing I do know is like, right now, it's technically not you giving them Christmas gifts.
Mhm.
He's like, it's Santa. And I was like, oh, he's like, yeah. So he's like, when you have that conversation, let's say that Santa's not real, then maybe you can have a more conversation. Like you're not gonna get everything you want. Like, you know what I'm saying? But right now,
Mhm.
he's like, enjoy it, bro. Because right now
Yeah.
it's just Santa giving them
Also, like
gifts.
you also have like family and friends that are like that always like give something as well too. So I don't know. I feel like if they understand like, and of course this comes with age, but like they understand the concept of like appreciation
Yeah.
and start understanding the like concept of like my life is this way, but other people's lives aren't necessarily that way. Even kids my age, then they start to pick it up. But I'm like, at what age do they really fully understand that?
I don't know, bro. That gets
You
me
know?
nervous because you see,
Yeah.
like, you have a beautiful house,
Mhm.
and
Thank you.
no, yeah, and I would if it was, I'll be like, you got an eye house. No, this house is popping.
Thank you.
But I guess my point is like, I get to, I love that, like especially my friends, I'm like,
Yeah.
bomb ass house, I'm gonna have a bomb ass house, this is awesome. But like we get to really enjoy it, and I'm like, your kids, my kids, whoever, like they just live here, like this
Yeah.
is just
This is normal.
this
to
is
them.
this is it, like
Like,
yeah,
what do you mean? Like,
yeah,
that's the part that I was like, now it's a little selfish. And
Yeah.
granted, I don't even have kids yet. But I told my sister, and this is before she like was gonna move to Tennessee. And we were on the topic of kids. And I remember telling her, I was like, Odi, if I have kids, they're gonna be fucking pussies. Like
Yeah.
they are. They're gonna be living in suburbia. They're gonna be accustomed to this life. And granted, we worked hard to create this life for ourselves,
Right?
for our future, and like all the whole nine. But I'm like, our kids aren't gonna be street smart either. I need my kids to be street smart. Like they don't. Okay, I know it sounds fucked up. I want my kids to excel. My future kids to excel, academically, the whole nine. But I could risk that if they at least have the street smarts.
Yeah, bro.
Like
I
at
get it.
least because at the end of the day, academics will get you so far.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that like street smarts, that common sense that's going to take you for the rest of your life and onward. So I told my sister, I was like, well, you're fucked. Like you're the only one left in the city. Like you can't move, because then I could just send my kids to visit you, visit the boys, and they will figure it out. They'll learn from there and stuff like that. And I remember like her just like cracking up. I was like, it's true though. Like,
bro,
what like, that's like, how do you, because you know, we grew up in the Heights. We
Yeah.
like, granted, the Heights wasn't terrible. Like, I don't think it was like the hood, which it's interesting. I've had different conversations with people and they're like, no, Daniela, it was the hood.
It was the hood, bro.
But I'm like, nah.
Nah, it was that as the hood.
In my eyes, I'm like, but I remember like being out in the street. Not, I wouldn't be out in the streets, but like when I would go to my friend's house by myself or walk home at like 3 a.m, I never felt unsafe.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a level of unsafe that you feel,
Of
obviously, like especially like a girl walking home alone.
Yeah.
But I never felt unsafe. I was just like, oh, I'm just walking home and stuff.
Bro, we lived in the hood, bro.
It's wild.
Yeah, and like there's things like when you were walking, probably like you knew where not to go, where to go, how to move. Hey,
Valid.
let me not go
There
there.
were certain streets that you're
Yeah, let me walk through St. Nick and Broadway, more people. Like,
yeah,
ignore
like I
Amsterdam.
might be on like Fort Wash. I wouldn't go to like Amsterdam.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, that's
so
true.
that's the thing. And our kids, but this is what we wanted. But it's like now that, but then I go
It's
back.
a sacrifice,
Yeah,
dude.
bro.
Like, what's the trade off?
I don't know, bro. I always think about that, and it's like you'd think Kevin Hart had like a skit on this. He's like, I brought my kids to like where I grew up, and they thought it was like an adventure. They're like, let's come back tomorrow. And he's like, no, like that's not the point. It's dangerous. So like,
it's not the goal.
But it hit home because it's like, yo, it's true. Like you can, like they're not from there. No matter what you do, like they from here. Like Rahway is a very artsy culture,
which I'm not mad at.
No,
like,
I love it here.
For like the artsy culture, but it's that part where I'm like, I know I grew up with it, like the street smarts, online. Maybe they'll still develop it in their own way, but it's not gonna be the same.
No.
It's so funny. Like I remember when I went to college, and it still sticks with me when it comes to like street smarts. I went to college. I had the opportunity to study abroad in Costa Rica. So
what?
Yeah, it was mad fun. It was the one thing that I could like. It's really fucked up and kind of manipulative, but it was the one thing I held over my parents because I got accepted when I went to, or it was time for college. I got accepted to a private college upstate.
Yeah.
But my parents are very like adamant, like, no, like we will not pay for your college. Because one thing about my parents that they were like very, very big on was like obviously your education.
Yeah.
And they were very big on like, we'll pay your entire college. Like I thankfully did not, I had the luxury that I did not have to pay any student loans when I got out of college. That's probably like the best investment that's ever made, like for me and my sister.
Yeah.
So they were very adamant about that. So fine, whatever. I went to City College instead in Harlem, and came time around, I forgot, was it like, it was in my second year, maybe my second or third, I don't remember. One of those years, in those 4 years, they had the study abroad program. So I was like, oh shit, like this is my chance. And I remember pitching it to my parents. I went to the office, I got all the information, I pitched it to them. That was one of the reasons in there too. I was like, but I didn't get to go to the private.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is my one thing, like please. And I remember picking the summer semester because it was shorter too.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just do it for the one summer and stuff like that. So cool. I go
by yourself.
By myself. It was my
no friends.
No friends.
You were a thug. How old are you?
I wasn't even 21.
Bro,
I remember.
You're wild.
I was maybe like 19, 20. I had to be 20. Not 21 yet though. Because I remember going over there and I was like, yes, I can drink. But like, I'm not legal
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
But yeah, so I was like 20 and I went there by myself, which is wild because this was the first trip that I took by myself.
Yeah.
And then to a country that I had never been by myself. And it was also like one of those things like when you're in your 20s, you're like, oh, I want to like have that one trip to discover
Yeah.
myself,
Wow.
or like just have that one trip to see like if you can actually do it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, let me not punk out, let me really see. And then it's like you're by yourself in this country that you've never been. Like, yeah,
Whoa.
like how do I function in this world? Like, can I create my own world or like my own community or like build something from this experience? So, it was interesting. The very first person that I met, it was like coming off of the plane. They like pick you up in a shuttle, and then they
Yeah.
take you to the university and stuff. And the very first person I met was like ended up being my closest friend there. She was awesome. She was from New Jersey
Nice.
and stuff. And it was interesting that a lot of I've noted it was like almost like a social experiment, but you when we got to the university, they tell you you're gonna be housed up in a local family's house. So they basically like bring you in.
Oh, so you're not staying in a dorm?
No, so we stood with like
Whoa,
local
man.
family. Yeah. Yeah. As a parent, I can totally see this being very
Oh
sketchy.
shit, son.
But like I think they're like associated with the university.
No,
They
I'm
vet
sure they're
them.
vetted. Yeah.
Yeah. So I stayed with like a an abuelita. Her name was Doña Emma. She was like the sweetest. Like she reminded me of my grandmother, like
Nice.
super sweet and stuff. She had her son that was special needs, a little bit older, but she took care of him and whatnot. And you weren't by yourself too. Like you would dorm or quote unquote
Yeah.
dorm or stay at the house with another person that's
Okay.
also part of the program. So it was funny. The girl that ended up being my quote unquote roommate, we came from two very different worlds.
Whoa.
Like I was from the city, she was from like I think Wisconsin, like
Yeah.
in a full like farmland. And I remember she was super sweet and like
Yeah.
we got along and stuff like that. But I can tell that she wasn't comfortable with like acclimating
Okay.
and stuff.
Was
because
she didn't speak Spanish? I'm assuming.
she sort of did like a lot of the program. Most of the people that were in the program that were like part of the study abroad and
Yeah.
stuff, they went there to like finish off their Spanish language courses and stuff like that. But because the school was an art school and I was an art major, me and a handful of other people there, we went there to finish off our art credits and stuff.
Yeah.
So we took like different classes. They had different classes for that. Other people had like biology or marine biology type classes I would take because of course like with Costa Rica it's very big on
Yeah.
you know the preserving the natural life and stuff. So some people had those kinds of classes, but my roommate, she was from like Wisconsin, I think it was. I remember she had like a farm, or her family had a farm, and like I remember she was like talking about her family and she was like showing me like I don't know if it was like a tractor or like a cedar or something, and like she was like showing off. She's like, yeah, like she was very like you could tell she was super passionate, very excited about like these things. And I'm like, I remember watching her excitement and I was like, wow, that's like cool. For me, I was looking at it, I was like, it's like a tractor, but like that's her world. And like she would like talk about it and stuff. And it was funny. We like the first like couple nights they had like orientation night, then they had like a fun like party kind of night at the school for like the whole program to kick it off. They had like rock climbers, like music, everything. It was
They went hard.
They went fucking hard. I was like, oh, this school got money. Like, they went hard. So I remember after that, like on our way, mind you, the house that we stayed at, it was super far. It was walkable distance to the university, like all the houses were. But the house that they put me in was kind of deep. Like I would have to cross like almost like a highway to get to the school. Cause it's not necessarily highway, but you know how like roads were like that.
Was it like Broadway, but with no split?
You know what it reminds me of? You see where you're like in the Walmart area?
Yeah,
where it's like almost like not a freeway. Is that not a freeway?
Oh, like the 1 and 9.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
one to
yeah,
nine. It's
yeah.
basically something like that.
Okay.
And I like it's through a neighborhood, and I remember having to cross that every single day. And then in Costa Rica, like people drive crazy
Like
everywhere,
like
right?
Like all
Yeah, like
Caribbean
Caribbean,
countries. Yeah.
yeah, like and they don't slow down for you. And that I remember they told us that during orientation because they have like orientation video, get
Yeah.
acclimated with like the
Hey,
country, the yeah,
welcome
like
to Costa
exactly, like
Rica.
have your backpack in the front, like
Pura
be
vida.
smart. So they tell you that too, like when you're crossing the streets and stuff like that, like people don't really listen to the crosswalks or the lights and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I was like, valid, that's like New York.
Yeah.
But the difference is that, you know, like at least in New York, they gotta slow down when you're crossing. They do not do that in Costa Rica. They speed up because their way of is like, all right, hurry up, get
Get the
off the
fuck
road.
out. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I would walk maybe like 15, 20 minutes, and that's New York walking
Yeah, yeah.
from like the house I stayed
So
at
that's like
to
you
the
probably doing a mile back and
at
forth.
least,
Like 2
yeah,
miles. Yeah.
yeah, at least that and stuff. But I would walk it quick, you know,
Yeah.
like walk it in like 10 minutes or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
fine. So, yeah, I remember like right on our way there, like right after that, like little highway freeway thing that we were past was like the local bar and the local like university bar that
Yeah.
everybody hung out with. And I remember there were times where I would like try to convince her. I was like, "Oh, come, like you want to come out with tonight?" Because I would see her like in her room, like after we would come back from class or like I would finish class, I would come back to the house and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I used that house like. Bless Doña Emma, she would feed us everything, but I literally use that house as a pit stop.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm gonna be outside.
Yeah.
We're gonna like venture out. We're gonna
Hell
like
yeah.
see the world or whatever,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and do the whole nine. So I would feel bad because I'm like, I see her in her room. I know she's like talking to her boyfriend at the time. And she's like, I'm like, hey, like, you know, I'm going out to the bar and stuff like that. If you want to come, like, just come. Like, we can hang out for a couple hours and we come back home together and stuff. And she's like, no, it's okay. Like, it's fine. I'm like, okay. And I offered a couple of times because I'm like, maybe the first time, you know, you're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's trying to get a feel.
Trying to get a feel for it. Also, like, wait a couple days. Maybe she needed a little bit more time to acclimate. And me too. Like, I had maybe like a couple days where I'm like, all right. Also, the time difference for me, like at the time, it was like 2 hours back or whatever.
Yeah.
Or front. I can't remember. I get jet lagged for any little
Yeah.
thing. Even that, I was like knocked out super early. And I remember one of our, like, my friends was like, come out. You're not sleeping. Like, just come out that one night and then you'll acclimate.
Yeah, yeah.
And I did that and I acclimated.
Oh, shit.
Quick. But the reason why I mentioned Costa Rica is because the program had people from all over the US to go to Costa Rica and stuff like that, or part of the program or what have you. So it's funny. I remember gravitating towards a lot more of like the city kids or like the people from the city.
Makes sense, yeah.
Because that too, like their common sense was there.
Yeah.
There were oftentimes like, you know, we would get to know everybody and stuff like that. Folks that were not part of like that urban environment just didn't get it.
Yeah.
And like at that point, I'm like, if we're outside, I feel responsible for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, bro, we're not gonna
Like,
do
don't
that.
take that.
Right. Like also like be very wary of this. Also, like, especially other girls, like we would go to like a bar or I remember one time a group of us went to like a club in Costa Rica and stuff. And like men are gonna be men, especially in the Caribbean and stuff like that. They're gonna like try and be a little bit freckle. You have to have like your eyes peeled.
Yeah.
Some girls would just be like, oh, like they super reckless. Like they'll leave their bottles everywhere. I'm like, guys, no. You do not leave your drink unattended. Like you gotta hold that and like hold your thumb over it too. Like and like you walking around with your beer, you hold your thumb over it and stuff. And like
Oh shit! Yeah, that makes sense. I never
just
even
so
thought of
people
it.
can't slip.
Yeah.
You know, no Diddy situation can happen or like Cosby situation can happen. Like you gotta like protect it or like have like your a napkin and stuff over it and stuff. So yeah, there was so many times where I just saw that and I was like, oh my God. And it got dark. There was one in that same local bar, one of the girls from that program, she got raped in the bar, in the bathroom. Yeah. And I remember the next day, like people talking about it. I didn't really know who she was, but because the program was big, there was a lot of like exchange students and stuff like that. And I was like, and it was like one of the bartenders. And I'm like, yeah, the bartenders are gonna be nice, but they're gonna be nice for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be eyes peeled at all times, and or just like don't get that shit faced.
Yeah.
If you're like, for me, being in a place, even like getting cool with people, I was like, I'm cool with you guys. I still don't know all of you guys.
De
Like,
lejito.
not to the point
Yeah.
where like I can comfortably be drunk around you or belligerent around you and know that nothing's gonna happen, because you just never know and stuff. So I don't know.
I mean, but I get it though. What they're all 18, 19,
Yeah, it was like
20.
1920s and stuff like that.
That sucks though.
People were
Yeah.
like 21 or like had just turned 21
Yeah,
and stuff. But yeah, man, it's wild. Still the funnest
I'm
experience
sure,
ever. Like,
bro.
it's so
So
fun.
wait, so like, what did it take for your parents to be like you were bringing everything out,
All
right?
of it,
Like,
all the
yo.
receipts, all the like all the little things that I held on for so long and stuff. I don't know. I can't remember what it was. I think it was just like constant, because I also told them too, like, I don't ask for anything.
Like, you were a good kid
Yeah,
too.
I was
So
like, I don't ask for
yeah.
anything. You know, you asked me to do really good in school, prioritize this, right? I do all of that. Like, please, please, please.
Damn.
They finally
Yeah, I get
caved.
it. They got a cave. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yes. I mean,
So-
I still, since then, I never asked for anything.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll make sure I
I'm
never
good. We
ask.
good. We good.
We're good for life, bro. Like, we're good. We're good.
So that was 2 months, I would say, right? July, August.
Yeah, that was for the summer. Yep.
Okay,
July,
okay.
August. Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. We stayed in I stayed in San Jose, so in the capital. And the school was Veritas.
Yeah.
Veritas. It was like a art. It was also an art school, like a specialized private like art school and stuff like that.
Were the classes taught in English or Spanish?
My classes, well, the teachers there are all bilingual.
Okay.
Depending on what class you're taking.
Yeah.
But my classes, they were in English because they had some students there, because I was doing art classes.
Okay.
I did it was like a biology photography class, and then I did a mural painting class and stuff. So both of those were taught in English.
Okay.
Because there were some students there that like were just coming for art.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because that's right. Yeah, because they weren't going for the Spanish.
Yeah. So if they were like maybe in an advanced class or like the Spanish class.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
And stuff.
Fucking crazy. Yeah. So you get back, and now you're doing college. What that was your what year? Freshman?
I think no, definitely not freshman. It had to be either my second or my third. I think my third year.
Okay. What were you studying at that point?
At that point, I was double majoring by then.
Yeah.
So I started off college continuing with art. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have my art degree. And then I started that. That actually takes a longer time. Like, you need more credits to finish an art degree than I did a psychology degree. So I started with art as my major, and then I had psychology as a minor. While I was in the midst of doing my art major, I basically finished up my minor credits for psychology, and I was talking to the advisor, counselor, and he was like, well, you have enough time if you want. He was like, just have a double major, just make psychology your second major, because you still need all that time to finish your first major. And I was like, all right, fuck it. And I still really love psychology. I finished those courses quick and stuff. So I just ended up doing psychology as a second minor. Second major.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking, bro, it took me 6.5 years to fucking graduate with my bachelor's.
That was my sister, bro.
Bro, it was rough.
Did you change your major a lot?
Did I? You know, I finally ended with a criminology degree.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, did you go to John Jay?
John Jay. Yeah, that was literally the only school that accepted me. So like, all right, we're going to John Jay. Like, that's it. I never forget though. The first semester, I never forget. Manny at that point is something changed. Like, he went from like wanting to wild out and play PlayStation and cut. I used to make him cut school every day. Like
in high school.
Every single, no, Manny, we out.
Fuck this.
Yeah. And then me and him, we got really good at playing Madden. So we would play for money versus other kids. And then me and Manny had a good scam. We would do like 4-man tournaments, and I would invite Manny, and I would put Manny in the other bracket. And then we would play the other two, and then we play each other, and then we split up. Yeah, so we used to play.
So that was your high school hustle? Everyone has their high school hustle.
Right. I used to have a lot of I used to play CeeLo a lot. You know what CeeLo is with the three dices?
Oh,
I
like
used
in school?
yeah, a
Oh
lot. So my
shit.
my mom would give me $1
Mhm.
for like lunch or
Mhm.
whatever.
You rack
Bro,
that up.
that dollar, bro.
Took it.
I mean, some
Made 10.
yo whatever because I used to get free lunch and I was in the swim team, so I used to have to. I would be so hungry all the time, so I needed extra like food. So I would feast with with the tray with the lunch trays. But then they used to sell cookies and juice in the store, but $1's not gonna cut it.
Yeah.
So I would play CeeLo as much as I could, flip that money to buy that
Just to earn food, bro.
to
That is kind
to
of bad
fuel
of
up.
you, bro.
Yeah, yeah. It was to fuel up, bro. I had double period swim class. But
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Fuck, what was my point? I forgot my point. Yeah, so I'm sorry. That point, Manny and Germ. No, Germ wasn't there yet. It was just Manny. Manny decided to take school serious.
Like a
And
flip of a switch.
yeah, I guess maybe it wasn't flip. I
Yeah.
just noticed it. But like then all my friends around me, like I'm like they were like having fun with me,
Mhm.
but then like they're doing good in school. And then Germ comes the next year and like Germ's like doing good in school. And I'm like,
So you were like, yo, so we
what?
not just chilling? over
Yeah,
here?
I
Like, what
thought like
happened?
I thought everybody was doing what I was doing, bro.
I thought we were just chilling.
My first semester, like I thought it was gonna be like high school where you just show up and they pass you. So, bro, rude awakening, bro.
For college, yeah.
It was
I don't give a fuck.
so I failed all my classes. I had took 4 classes. I failed all 4.
Shit.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Like, what do you mean I can't
I
do
was
the bare
like,
minimum
what the
and
fuck?
get by?
So and then all these motherfuckers talking about their grades, and I'm like, nah, I didn't do well. And they knew, like they kind of whatever. But
Like,
bro,
okay,
it took
Lonnie.
me 6 years. I find it something finally clicked after I took one. Bro, at one point I was gonna do English history,
Oh my God, that's my sister.
bro. I was whatever, and then one thank God, bro, I forgot the teacher's name. I had to take a general course. It was like a general introduction to
Yeah.
criminology and John Jay, and the dude used The Wire the
Oh, to
whole
connect.
semester. Like it was everything
He's
we
a
did.
pretty badass teacher.
Bro.
Like, way to like connect.
It worked for me,
Yeah, like make it connect for
bro.
for
I was
kids.
like, what the fuck? He's like, you like the Wire? I'm like, I love The Wire.
Like, see, fucking.
I'm like,
lens.
what do you mean this is homework? Like, and he would like, pull out like the themes, what all that
Yeah.
shit. But I was like year 4, I think, and I was like, yo, that's it. Like, I don't know, I don't
It
want.
clicked for you.
Yeah, I was like,
And that's the thing. Like, I feel like, again, with colleges, it could be such a scam because to expect a kid that just comes out of high school to, like, oh, pick the thing that you're supposed to love and do to prepare you for, like, your forever job.
Got
That,
it.
like, that's ideal. Like,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you grew up
Legit.
thinking, right? So it was, like, such a big thing, like, a lot of pressure. I even remember for me, because, again, my sister was, like, very indecisive
Yeah.
when she did start college because I mean you can't blame her. She was like, okay, I tested out this major, I don't like it, I'm gonna switch over. I think she
Yeah.
did like speech pathology, then she switched over to like I think it was teaching and then switched it over to English or vice versa. I don't know what it was,
Yeah.
but she changed her major I don't know how many times.
Okay.
And it pulled her from 4 years to 6 years where she
Yeah.
finally finished. So in the midst of that, I'm there like, oh shit, my time's coming up. Like, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
What do I want to do? I was like, fuck it. I've been doing art this whole time. Let's fucking stick with it.
Yeah.
Halfway through, like right before I decided to pick my minor, I was like, what job am I gonna fucking get?
There you go. Not legit.
To be honest, like
Yeah.
there's not many jobs with a fine art degree. Like, am I gonna go to work in a museum after
Yeah.
this or not? Like, because I put fine art as my major.
Yeah.
Really, what that is like for the majority of the classes that you take is art history.
Okay.
Like I know my art history,
Yeah.
bro. And then they sprinkle in those studio classes where like you're drawing, you're painting, and you can pick whatever classes those are, but you have to finish at least X amount of these art history classes and stuff.
That's
so
crazy.
yeah, so I'm like, fuck, like what job am I gonna get? So I'm like, okay, I can also keep going on.
Wait, how old are you at this point? Ish.
Well, I finished high school 17.
Okay, yeah,
I was
7,
young.
depending
I
on
was on the
yeah,
younger
yeah.
side and stuff. So by like 19.
Okay, and this is after your trip or before?
Before.
Okay, so this is before your trip.
Because before my trip, I was already an art major.
Okay.
I might have still had, I might have just switched over. No, I might have just finished up my minor in psychology. Somewhere around there and stuff. But yeah, I was like, I have to make sure I get a job.
Yeah.
So I leaned as a backup for the psychology route. And then
to do what?
Well, the goal was in my mind, well, I do like psychology. Maybe I can go that route, become a therapist.
Okay.
And stuff. And then I quickly realized that's a lot. That's a lot to come.
Yeah.
Because I did also like intern for a psychologist. And like from there, I also learned like that's a lot to come home with every day.
So what, like as an assistant, like?
So I interned for, and it was very, very brief because I also had like a lot of family shit going on.
Wait. So you were an intern as in not, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
So I interned for Esther Perel.
Okay.
She's a family therapist turned like couple therapist and stuff like that. She's pretty well known now and stuff.
Okay.
And she was working on a book. It was like a second part to, or like the sequel, I guess, to one of her first books, and it was basically all about infidelity.
Okay.
It was actually kind of like spicy.
Yeah.
So cool. Like just meet it. There's certain people that you meet that like they love what they do so much, and you could tell that they are living like their purpose.
Yeah.
She was one of those people that I met.
It's cool.
Like, I remember she was like, the way I got it was it was my last year of college.
Okay.
And I was taking a family therapy class for one of my
Wait, I'm sorry. Just to get the timeline right. So you start before your trip to
After my trip to Costa Rica. So I had to have done my trip to Costa Rica my junior like year of college.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I remember that was like 2013. I graduated 2014.
So I'm sorry. The trip helped.
Oh, they helped.
Yeah, right. That's why I want to connect. Yeah, it sounds like it.
No, I love that trip. To this day, I'm like, if there's a lot of like, your timeline of life, like you're like most proud of yourself. I think I was most proud of myself going on a trip by myself.
Yeah.
Being able to do that, have a great time from it, like build a lot of memories from it and take it with me.
Yeah. And also like you even know like that question you asked, like, what I'm going to do? Like it was after, right?
Afterwards.
Yeah. I'm saying like.
So I continued on.
You helped find yourself that ass. Look at you.
So I went on, even though I didn't end up doing the whole therapy route, but you carry a lot of that with you.
Yeah.
So I got that internship through my professor that was doing family therapy. I was in that class and stuff like that, and I was really good at that class. Like I was like, my family's like, say less, I got you.
See that before.
I've seen this before. I see what the psychologist is doing here. So it was funny. I remember he pulled me out of class, like after class or whatever, and he was like, "Oh, like, are you looking for any internships?" He's like, "I have someone that I used to work with that's looking for interns and stuff like that. Esperel, blah blah blah, help her out." I was like, "Sure." I mean, I was literally in my last year of college. I didn't have any internships. So I was like, thank fucking God. Because, you had to rack those up or whatever to prep you. So I accepted it where I had the first like phone call with her. And then she was like, oh, just come over my house. Yeah. She lived in like, I want to say it was like by Chinatown or like right near Chinatown. But it was really nice. It was like a full on loft. Like she had like I don't know if it was like a penthouse loft or whatever, but it's like one of those buildings that like each floor is an apartment.
Like New Girl, like big ass with the columns. Like
yes.
Yeah.
Super nice. And so I remember she invited me over her house and like sat down, had coffee, and like she was just like talking about like her life and like how she came up and stuff like that. And like I was talking about, oh yeah, I'm art major, but I also really love psychology and stuff like that. I'm like hoping to blend the two because what I wanted to do was like art therapy. I learned about art therapy like being a form of therapy for a lot of, I know it's used a lot for like kids with special needs or like people who go through trauma. It's used a lot with kids because it's an easier form of like expression.
Yeah,
exactly. So I was thinking about that, and she was like, I think she gravitated to me so quick because she was like, oh my God, that's exactly what I did. Like she did art therapy at first. Like I think she did like puppeteering or something. Like
I could see that.
Yeah, it was like something wild.
Yeah.
And then she eventually went into like family therapy and then found her specialty in like couples, and then more specifically couples that like go through like traumatic things or like with infidelity and stuff like that. So her book was basically all about infidelity and like how couples navigate through it. And a lot of her research was like, what I did basically was very short period of time was like do read research like studies and stuff like that of, you know, different studies that they've done in couples with infidelity. A lot of that stuff they also had like in Spanish or like in from Spain or from whatever, because again in the Latin culture infidelity is like, that's just a thing. People be having other families and shit. Yeah. So it gets crazy. So I would basically read through that, translate it, give her like the synopsis of it.
So she needed like references.
Yeah. Like information and research for her book. And then another part of that was transcribing her therapy sessions. Whoa. Obviously it had to be consensual.
No, of course, blah blah blah.
But she would get a permission from certain couples that she was working with that were working through infidelity. And tape them. And obviously you switch out the names, you like
of course.
do the whole nine.
But bro,
I remember when she would like give me sessions and I would like sit there and watch them, and then I would have to transcribe.
Sorry. They were taped?
They were like, taped, like video tapes.
You're seeing this.
Seeing live action, their experience, and they're sitting there and they're just like, oh my God. And they're like going through it and like the rage that they feel and everything. And I'm there and I'm like, transcribing, like,
but also you're
but
like,
it's like I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh my God, like that's wild.
Yo, wait, so how old are you? You're like 20.
I was already like 20, 21, maybe around there. 20, like 20 years old, around there, 21. Yeah.
That's a fucking cool ass job. I mean, I get how you.
Yeah. So it was one of those things where like, damn, that's like really heavy. And then I had like my own family stuff going on. Like that was like the height of my anxiety too. So I was also struggling. It did not last long at all. It was like a couple months.
Yeah.
What have you? I don't even think I did that well in that internship either, because I was like, yeah, I'll hand it in, but it was always late. And stuff. But it was for even that short period of time, I was just like, oh, that's a lot to.
Yeah. That's like a cop, just like, you know, you see a ton of bad shit. You got to be like,
And then it's one thing because like in college, you're like learning all about like the human psyche. Like it's like very theoretical knowledge and it's like fun. And then at that, like, I think once it was like an internship, I'm like, oh, this is like what
this is what you're doing. Yeah.
Too, like, yes, they're talking about the infidelity, but then they go into like personal things or like trauma like happens. I'm like, oh shit. Like,
yo,
how do you come home with that and not carry that?
Bro, but honestly, how awesome is it that you got to, before even fucking trying to like do all the licenses and all, before all that bullshit that once you get there, you probably wouldn't have left regardless. You got like a awesome sneak peek.
Yeah, it was a good sneak peek just to see like what it's about. I totally respect it, and I still like it. Maybe in a different lifetime, that would be something for me, but I'm like, I don't know. I also know the type of person that I am. If like with my work now, if I take that home with me and I carry that on a day to day, imagine if it's like dealing with somebody's like traumas, like real things. Like, not to say like my problems at work are not real. Like, you know what I mean? Like whatever. Like they'll be fine. But like these are people's like psyche, their emotions, like who they are. And then like, that shit. I was like, I don't know if I could be. Not to say that therapists they're not responsible for those things, but there's a level of responsibility there.
Of course, like, you're getting the most vulnerable, you know, and it's up to you to fucking not break them. Yeah,
and like guide them in the right direction.
Yeah. Like that's honestly that's mad cool though.
It is super cool, right? Like to this day, I'm like, damn, that was like experience.
Hell
like,
yeah.
And the thing is too, like she was like such a phenomenal person. Like again, like she was someone that was like truly living her
Yeah,
purpose.
yeah, yeah.
That's like super passionate, and she was like not a gatekeeper whatsoever. Like
Yeah.
any information, any questions that you had, she
That's
also she she did like a ton of different conferences all around the world. She had like access to all of this information from like a psychology like standpoint that
Yeah.
like she was very well connected. She also taught at NYU and stuff like that. So
Oh,
she
so
had
she's
all of these
she's a
resources,
stud, yeah.
and she was like literally like an encyclopedia. She was like, whatever you want, guys, here's my Rolodex of like, go for it
Yeah.
and stuff. And I was just like, my God, because it wasn't just me. It was like a couple,
Yeah,
it
of
was a group
course.
of us and stuff. But yeah, it was so wild.
Whoa, man,
Yeah.
that's fucking cool. Okay, so
Mm.
damn,
That was, it was,
that's a
yeah.
yo. God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Because I can only imagine the fucking wild shit that you were exposed to.
Yeah.
Fucking 21, bro. You're like, what did she
Yeah.
say?
I know. And you know what's crazy? Like it's funny. She
And
would
I'm
say,
sorry, you can't share this.
no, 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 no.
So I'm saying, so you
Yeah.
got all, so that I can see how a little bit, yeah. I can see how that could be heavy on you too, because it's not like you can go be like, yo, I just listened to this shit. You gotta like,
You have to make sure you like sign
of
certain
course,
things,
yeah.
stuff like that. Like make sure that that's private, that remains
Oh,
private.
no,
Yeah.
bro.
So that's where I was like, oh shit, like this is heavy. Like this is mad drama.
So
Like
did you know instantly after that was done that you're like, that's
that
not
was
me?
a part of me that I was like, damn, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know if I could do it for the long term. Um yeah. So I think that that was a big part of it. And then also like just like family wise, I had a lot of stuff going on. So I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I could be
Not right
in
now,
a
not right
college
now.
experience
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And then like by the time I finished college, I was like, fuck, like what do I do? Because the next step would be is like, okay, do I go back to school so that I can go forward with the psychology route? I'm going back to school for art. What the fuck I do? Spending more money on that and stuff. So that's when I spent like it was like a couple months. Like I didn't have a job or anything. I remember my sister had just had Liam
Yeah.
and stuff. So I was like helping take care of him or babysitting so that she can finish school and stuff. And then that's when Luce actually hooked me up with that first recruitment job that I had. And I stayed there for like
Yeah.
6 years.
You stayed there for a
Way too
minute.
fucking long.
Yeah.
But that's basically where I reverted to, and I've been
Yeah.
sticking to it ever since.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. But
So wait, so you okay, so when did you meet Morgan?
I met Morgan. I met Morgan my senior year of high school.
Senior year in high school.
We
Gotcha.
were I always make this joke that we met in a cult.
Yeah.
What could have been a cult.
Oh, that thing,
Yeah,
the
it was.
United Palace?
Yep. Yeah. It was supposed to be like a quote unquote nonprofit.
Yeah.
But it was the intent, or what was sold as the intent of what it was, like high schoolers and folks that are like young adults who are like maybe first year of college that needed like extracurricular things to do.
Yeah.
So like it would be giving back to the community in some
Civic
way.
engagement.
Yeah, civic engagement, like for example, like going to a homeless homeless shelter, giving out food.
Yeah.
Going to a senior center, spending time with older people, going to a hospital or children's hospital, all those kinds of things. What it really ended up being was us going into United Palace to these places, pretty much chilling, but then like listening to this guy talk, like just like talk random shit, like hype you up, like yeah, da 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 da. And it was funny because I remember it was me, my best friend Monica.
Yeah.
That's where I met a lot of like friends, even folks that I still keep in contact today. More remember Morgan was there, and Morgan backed out. He left like earlier. I stuck around for a little bit longer because like I got cool with people and stuff, and but Morgan also sensed the bullshit really early.
Yeah.
So I remember when I sensed the bullshit. There was one time we were like all in the room or whatever. He's talking. He's like he's going on a rant about something, and at one point, because this is again we're high schoolers, like senior year of high school, and at one point he was like, yeah, like he was talking about like, oh, don't go to college. Like really trying to convince people not to go to college. Like, nah, and if you're in college, drop out. Like,
Whoa.
and then like I don't know what the goal was either. Like I don't know if it was like, are you convincing us to like drop out and follow
And
you?
join,
Like what to do what? And then that's the part where I was like, yeah, that's fucking fishy. And then I started to question him a lot. And I remember asking him because he was like telling people like, yeah, like hyping up people like, yeah, we're gonna go to the one of the big things was like going to the children's hospital because he was hyping it up like, oh, we're going to give back. We're going to do this for the kids and stuff like that. It would be months and months and stuff. And then I'd be like, yo, and I remember stopping him one time. It was already when I was questioning him and he could tell and he was kind of getting annoyed with me. Yeah. And I was like, yo, but what about the children's
What like, happened to that?
What happened to that? Like, when are we going? He's like, nah, don't bring that up here. Like, because it was like towards the end and like people were still lingering and talking. And I was like, but then when's a good time to bring it up because everybody wants to know.
They're gonna lose faith,
right? Like everyone wants to know. And I remember like it was me, Monica, it was our friend Zemi and our friend Ada. We like got really, really close in that in whatever whole thing it was. And one of our things, like my high school hustle was making bracelets. So I would like all of us, we would just like make bracelets like with the yarn and stuff like that and sell it. So I was selling for like $2, $3.
Oh, that's
you know, you got to make your profit. So like we would go in, sell it. And I remember we were like wrapping up, like gaining a lot of money and stuff. Like I remember we earned like maybe like $400. That was, that's caking.
Right now, I'll take that. I'll ball out.
Yo, we were like hustling with it and stuff. And I remember it was like towards the end of our time in that program because I could already tell he was like, this dude is bullshit, like all this stuff. Even his followers that were like licking his butthole, like you're just like too much, you know? And I remember, I think it was around the block from my house. I remember we were like, they were all met up at like some food spot there. And I don't know, something happened and we get into an argument. I'm like, this man is like a 20-something-year-old man, maybe 30-something, arguing with a high schooler. And I remember we were like screaming in each other's faces and stuff. And then afterwards, because during that time they were quote unquote saving up to go to like New Orleans. I don't know if it was New Orleans or somewhere else.
Sounds like a scam.
I don't know. Like they actually went, but they were saving up during that time. They were saving up the money to do something. And maybe it was like a Habitat for Humanity type shit. I don't know. But they were saving up for that. And we had gotten into that big fight, that big blowout and stuff like that. I cut communication. I was like, no contact and stuff. I'm done. And I remember he threatened me. He was he's threatening to take legal action because of the money that we raised, our hustle of like making bracelets. He said that money actually is for him and the group to use for the trip. And I remember I was holding on to the money like in my house. And I had told him, I was like, you could try, or you can come over and try to take the money, but you're not going to be successful. Like, why do you think you feel like you're entitled to that money?
What was it? He was just trying to like herb you?
He was trying to, but I think he's a true like cult, like he could be a cult leader. Like he has that mentality.
So
of, like,
his eyes, he was gonna like.
He's like, that's for me. That's for our, like the program.
For the cause. It's for the cause, bro.
And I was like, no. And what we did with that money, obviously, it was like split between us, us four, and we just spend it on a girls' night. We went to 42nd Street and we just bossed out. We went to different places. You know the little cartoon drawings that
Fuck it, let's do it. We've been dying to do that shit.
We're like, fuck it. And we spent it on that because we're like, we're not going on that trip anyway. Like, fuck it. Like, and that's what we spent it on. Because we were rating, essentially the thing was like, okay, if we're trying to do this trip or whatever, we're going to raise some actual money, but we're going to raise it for ourselves to go and stuff. But yeah, he was like,
that's funny, bro.
And then it's funny because there's some people that like still kind of kept in contact and stuff, or like from friends that we knew or whatever. And slowly after that, the whole program kind of dissipated. and stuff. I think a lot of people were like,
For the
yes,
better.
this is like, yeah, this is bullshit. But apparently I think he's like like afterwards, like hearing about it, like he's tried to do that afterwards and it didn't work out. He then tried to become like a pastor or something.
I swear to God, I was gonna say
He found Jesus and tried to like do that. That's why I'm like, yo, that man just needs somebody to like listen to him and follow him and stuff. And it was like, it was really, really bad. So that was the program. But I met Morgan through that. And we got cool because my friend Zemi was like pretty cool with him. And it was like kind of like through friends and stuff. And then we ended up hanging out a lot because we were always like at Demi's house, like hanging out and stuff. And that's how we met.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you guys were friends for
So we were friends and like we hung out for like about a year.
Okay.
Before like we
started dating.
Yeah,
whatever.
started dating and stuff.
Gotcha. So wait, you were with him when you went to Costa Rica?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we were together then. Yeah, and like ever since like high school, like an end of high school, like first year of college is when we like started dating.
Got you. Did he go to college?
He did. I think he went to Albany for like a year.
Got you.
And then like came back home, I think, like to help out his mom and
got
stuff
you.
like
Got you.
Yeah, but he didn't finish.
Got you. I think
college.
I think me and Morgan went to G Dubs, but I believe he was in the first floor. I was in the last floor.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And it's funny because they're like, when I learned, I was like, oh, you went to G Dubs. Because I heard so much shit about G Dubs. I was like, oh, you went to G Dubs.
That shit was the
growing up in the
worst.
Heights, like
Yeah. That was like the first day that I went to G Dubs. I never forget. Morgan probably knows. No, because it was my freshman year and I'm older than him. My first day in G Dubs, I never forget, it was like famous and all that, but I saw 4 kids with hammers hammer a kid. I will never forget that, bro.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was literally right across the street. Like you had to pass through it, and I'm like, that's hammers, and I never forget because I was like,
that's like straight up murder.
Yeah, I was like, yo, what the fuck, son?
It's what you know what it is. High schoolers, like when you're in your teens, that's like your toddlerhood,
bro.
But with more language.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Like developmentally, like you're basically a walking toddler. Like you have no sense, like your whole like frontal cortex isn't fully developed. You're not logically thinking. You're just all action, bro.
Yeah, bro. So that's what George Washington was. Luckily, I never got into a fight because I was such a bitch.
You never got into a fight?
No, one time, and sorry, I was about to get into one fight, and my best friend, who was the opposite of me, he used to he would fight all the time.
Like, say less. I'll take this one.
He introduced me to working out. So he was like the high school kid that was like brolic. Yeah, he's still brolic. But he used to work in the New York Sports Club.
Oh shit!
Super nice. Yeah, like because his like he was like he was like a grown up. His dad died. So it was just him and his mom. So like I guess he grew up fast, and he would just he was gonna fuck me up. That's how we met. And then I was like, yo, we could fight,
let's
bro.
Be boys.
Yeah.
Instead,
I threw stink bombs in the.
Stink bomb.
I threw 2 stink bombs. And then they were blaming him, and he knew it was me. Oh. So he was like, he's not gonna snitch. He ain't snitch, but instead he was like, I'm not gonna snitch, but then I'm gonna fuck you up. So I never forget. I was like, yeah. And well, even funny, I tell him like, yo, Migs, like, you're gonna fuck me up.
Like you're right, you are. You're
like
gonna
just
win.
know, like you just gonna fuck me up. And I like he didn't know how to respond, so he just laughed and then I
from there
I said some super gay shit after. I was like, yo, bro, you brawling? I'm like, yo, we should go shopping, bro.
You did eat him?
I did eat him, bro, on the low. I never forget. He's like,
what and he wasn't like 50 Cent. Like, what the fuck are you talking?
He just because I guess I was so non-threatening. You know what I'm saying? That he couldn't take it. He was like, what? And I'm like, yo, bro. I was like, yo, bro.
He is the gayest thing I've heard.
That is, bro. Straight up. I'm not. I'll own you. And we went to H&M. I never forget. I'm like, yo, bro, you brolic, bro. I'm like, you gonna wear brolic?
Whatever outfit you want.
Because in my mind, I'm like, this dude is like brolic. He was like dark skin, low haircut, like Diesel dude. And I'm like, I'm the opposite. So in my mind, I was like, if we hang out, we're gonna get all the girls. It's like by default. Yeah, it was one or the other.
That's actually smart if you think about
Bro.
it. That's long-term thinking right there.
I'm a long term thinker. I have no short term thinking skills, but long term, bro.
That's long-term goals right
I'm
there.
a beast, bro.
Yeah.
And ever since then, we went to H and I'll never forget. And I was like, yo, you gotta start dressing like that, tighter jeans, what? Because I was
Let
already,
them know that you're like extra
bro.
brolic.
Because remember there was that transition from baggy clothes
Yes.
to they used to call it Chico Diesel, I think.
Yes. Where were you in high? No, that was probably you were probably already out of high school. Where it was like it was a transition to
Yeah.
tighter, but
Yeah.
then everything was like super colorful and like 80s.
Yeah.
Like everyone had colored jeans.
And like
that.
you had like the red stuff on the back pockets, all that
Mhm.
shit. Yeah, bro. So Remy used to go to Remy, even like Remy loved DR. So Remy
I
would,
could see that.
bro. So when I was dressing baggy, Remy comes back with like the diesel sneakers that everyone had. I don't know if you remember. Like, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? He's like, yo, bro, this is how you gotta dress from now on. I was like, nah, bro. And then like everyone started. I'm like, oh shit, Remy was right.
Yeah.
So then, of course, I started taking his clothes, and then that's when
That's
the
when
Miguel thing happened, and he ended up being my best friend. But it was funny. So, bro, high school was
High
just
school was a time, man. High school was a time.
it was fun. It was
pretty fun. It
yeah.
was very dramatic, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like you mentioned, like the hammer thing, because I think about it and I was like, I went to an art school, but that school was like the ghetto
Yeah.
version of like what a LaGuardia, I would imagine, would be.
Yeah.
Like it's still art, but like there was Bloods, there was Crips, there
Yeah,
was all
yeah,
the like
yeah,
Latin Kings, there was all the things.
Oh,
there were
shit, I forgot
constantly
about
fights.
that we were like when Latin Kings were popping.
All of it.
Yeah,
like
that's
all
right.
of
I
it.
forgot about that whole part.
Friends that were Bloods. I had like it was a full and like every single day there was a fight.
Yeah.
Every single day.
That's how Dubs was.
Yeah, it was wild. And then I think about it and I'm like, holy shit, are high schools still like that?
I don't know what they are, but I know there's mad phones.
Yeah.
Have
Everything's like online or social drama.
Yeah.
But we didn't really have that luxury yet. Like
Thank
we had
God.
what, Facebook?
Skolniks.
Skonex.
Yeah, Skolniks.
I didn't have a Skonex. My sister had a Skonex.
Yeah.
I didn't have a Skonex.
Skolniks, and then
There was MySpace and then Facebook.
Yeah.
I had my MySpace, I had Facebook.
yeah.
There was something else, but also I think it's Skonex.
Mi gente. You remember Mi gente?
Yes.
I don't remember. That's it. Yo.
Yeah.
So when we were in was it college? Our first year of college, me and Manny, right? So Rock Band came out.
Oh, I fucking
Yo.
Rock Band.
Me and Manny were like, yo, I'm like, me and Manny were having
when the band started.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for this, bro.
Me and Manny, we're working in PAL.
Mm-hmm.
We're both going to school, whatever. And I don't know, but we got into Rock Band, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it came out and we played it. I never forget. Cause the first thing we did was like, yo, Manny, how we gonna get suspended for work? Like, fuck it, bro. He's like
dedication.
Yeah, like we gotta get suspended because we can't take a day off. That's not enough. You know, like we knew that we were about to like that's it. Like we're going in. That's it. So I forgot what we did, but we got ourselves suspended from work, both of us. We were like, let's go every day in my house playing Rock Band. Manny naturally grabbed the guitar.
I could see that. What were you the drums?
No, bro. So Chico ended up taking the drums. So I had to sing. Yo, Manny
have you ever recorded the
Nah, bro.
Damn,
But
bro.
Manny used to he used to be like, yo, you hit the notes, bro, but I hate you. Like everyone hated my and what we did was I think I had two big ass speakers in my room. So I had one in
so it was like surround.
It was surround sound. So like my mom, everybody in the house was hearing my and then like in Rock Band, it like I learned, I'm like, oh, I don't even gotta sing. I just gotta and like, you had the high notes and I'm trying to hit them and we're losing and
my God.
So
I
then
can only picture that.
bro, and then
I would have thought that Manny would have ended up being the singer for whatever.
you know what is Manny
my
always gravitated towards a guitar.
Yeah.
Always. And Manny cause he again
play.
and he knows how to sing somewhat. Like he knows how to control his voice. I mean, way more than I could
I
ever.
heard the song.
Yeah, bro. But then Manny's like, I think it had to be Manny. Manny was like, yo, damn, something like, should we get a real guitar? Should we get? So then listen
We're
to
doing this.
yeah. So then we needed equipment. We learned. So it was a summer, never forget. We collected some money and we bought a cheap ass. Oh, we used a Rock Band mic and connected it to something that we bought, and then that shit shorted out.
Could do that.
Yeah, bro. That was our first mic. Never forget. So my cousin, young ass kid, was doing some real thug shit. My little cousin at like 15 was sneaking out his house, doing a bunch of wild shit. But he was making a fit. I'm not kidding. He was making like $1,000 a week, cash as a 15-year-old. So he was like, "Yo, don't worry about it."
I gotcha.
But like,
I'll sponsor you.
let's go to what's that? Remember that electronic with the most famous one with the guitar with all the something center, Guitar Center.
Okay, Guitar Center.
We went to Guitar Center. We were like, "Yo, we need a receiver. We need this. We need this."
The amp and everything.
Bro, and paid for everything. So we set it up. Yo, we at one point people came to my house to record.
You had a
studio, bro. So we had the computer. I kid you not. We took my closet.
Charged a good amount for that. Bro. We were studio time,
bro, in a small ass bro. My room, and there was 3 dudes living there. My room, I kid you not, was, I would say, from where we're at, no, to the end. Like, yeah, this is our room. So we had a bed. We had a bunk bed there. We had I think a single bed here and a couch there. And like there was no space.
Oh, okay.
It was jam packed. But sometimes, bro, it would be me, my brother, my other brother Chico, and like one of my friends, one of Remy's friends, just living with us. Oh, because they would get kicked out their house or whatever, and be like, "Yo, you could come through."
Yeah.
And we had people like coming to record and make music. Bro, we lasted a summer and it was hours, nonstop hours, just making music. In our minds, we're like, "Yo, we're gonna make it, bro."
Fire the mixtape.
Yo,
all together,
making beats. Like friends of mine making beats. Like it would be, it was weird. Like it would be like we'll be getting ready to go somewhere, and there would just be people in my room,
just chilling,
like making music.
That's wild.
Yeah,
you had a legit business going.
It was mad. It was so much. I used to make so much music, and then the peak of me and Manny's career was one day. I think it's my girlfriend. Yeah, and I had a girlfriend at the time, and Manny came with and he was gonna hang out with one of her friends. Blah blah blah, and we're on like a train or something, and she has like headphones on, bro, and she's listening to our one of our songs like casually.
Like I was gonna say by accident, but by choice.
Yeah, like it was in her iPod, and she
downloaded.
And me and Manny were like, "What the fuck?"
Yo, you guys were probably
we were hyped.
We're gonna make it.
Yo, and then
as a manager,
bro, but we lasted a summer. And then we was like, "Yo, we can't, we wanted to play ball again." We were like, this shit is getting,
never mind.
This is getting out of control. Like, we don't love it that much. Yeah. But it was a wild summer. Bro, I wish I would have kept those songs, bro. So just for laughter.
I remember listening to it. So you guys had kept it.
We have one.
Enough.
Yeah.
I think I listened to that.
Yeah.
Because I remember it was earlier on when we first
were
all hanging out and stuff. And I remember when y'all mentioned it, I was like, get the fuck out of here. There's no way. I need to hear it. I don't even know. I don't remember which one it was or how it went. But I remember Manny was singing.
Yeah, I cheated.
You guys were rapping.
Yeah, I was rapping. He sung it. He sung the hook. I mean, the verses.
Not gonna lie, it did sound like an actual song.
Bro, that was
y'all did that.
That was in my closet, bro, with the egg cartons on the thing.
Soundproofing?
Yeah, bro.
Yo,
that shit was fun, bro.
That shit is so funny.
It was that, God. Yo. Me and Manny's always been odd.
Yeah.
But bro,
to think, what a time to be alive. I wish I was a fly on that one because I would die laughing.
Yeah, bro. That was fun. Me and I've done bunch of dumb shit with Manny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting how people how we all mature and stuff.
Yeah.
Because like you look at Manny now, I'm like, I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't see. He's like too calm. He's way too calm.
Yeah.
And stuff like.
He was always calm. Like, oh, me and Jeremy were always like the provocateurs, the ones that
like fuck it.
Yeah. Like the hot heads. It would be us. And Olaf too. Olaf was crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I heard like Olaf like had a temper.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Outside, like people around and shit like that. Yeah. You know,
we used to mess with him a lot too.
Really?
Yeah. Well, we push each other's buttons a lot. Like all of us, we used to. At one point.
So wait, Jeremy, did he also go to Dubs, or you met during?
No, I met him in PAL.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, Angie, all of them. I met them all through PAL.
Okay.
Yeah.
Olaf did PAL too, or was because
Olaf is Berto's cousin. But he was hanging around us a little bit, and then I was like, "Bro, just work here." Like we were having a party.
It was like a party every day.
He's like, "Yo," like I'm like, "Bro, just come." He's like, "I want to go on to study." I'm like, "Study and do this. This job is easy." Yeah. Like it was, awesome. Bro. It was so much fun. And then little by little, everyone like Manny got fired. But he was like all hot on his way out. So he was like the first one to leave, and then I know I was the last one.
Really?
You know what it was like?
That's surprising because I feel like if you're like not with the shits, you'd be like, all right, fuck this.
Nah, for me, it was just everybody was there.
Oh.
That's what it was. And then Amaris was there. And yo, bro, I've been calling my shot with Amaris.
Son, it still baffles me, but yes, go on.
Yeah, no, for a while. So she was there. So I was like, I can't be with her now because I'm like, I am so immature.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not ready.
Long term,
bro. Long term. But the only cool thing with that was I would tell her friends. I'd be like,
that makes sense because I like obviously I was like newer to the group when you guys. Not really. I mean, a little bit, basically. Like, we were hanging out because of, football and stuff like that. I would just, like, come and hang out, go to Blarney's and stuff like that. But it wasn't, I was still kind of relatively new, so I didn't know any of that. Yeah. So when it was Luce that told me, she was like, oh, my God, guess who I had, I think it was, like, lunch or brunch or whatever with. And she talks about how she found out, like, I don't know, like if one of you guys came in and sat together or whatever, it was like she kind of put two and two together and stuff. And as Luce was telling me, I was like, what? Who? I was like, no fucking way. Like, it did not click for me. And then when I spoke to other girls about it, they're like, how did you not know? Like, that shit was mad obvious. Like, Angie would say all the time, she's like, oh my God, I was like, finally. And Bridget too, she was like, yeah, he couldn't stop talking about her.
Because this, me and Bridget, we used to, so when we all got drunk and stuff, me and Bridget used to go home to like take the same train or the cab.
Yeah.
So me and her, I used to always be like, oh, Bridget, we got to McDonald's, bro, to get snack wraps. So then waiting in that line and all that, I would be like, yo, you see your friend? Watch, bro. You're going to see.
You're just professing your love.
Yeah. I used to tell all the time, bro. I would call my shots and I'm like, yo, look, this is going to happen. And then I never forgot, told Angela, I think she broke up with someone and then I think I was about to break up with someone and I told Angela like, yo, it's going down. You're going to see. And then from there, but that was like a legit, I think I saw her. I think we have 9 years together. So that's, what's that?
Damn, it's been 9 years.
Yeah. 9 years. So was that 2016? Yeah, 2016. So I told her this like 2014 that I'm going to start the process. Wow. And I met her in like 2009. And I knew in 2010, I was like, that's me right there.
Oh my God. That's kind of beautiful if you think about it. Long term, bro.
Yeah. Long term, bro. I've always been that guy. Long term. So yeah. So from there, just planned it out. So that's why I couldn't leave. Like Germ left and Germ started working with Alberto. So I'm like, fuck. And then I met Angela because Angela was in charge. Funny enough, me and Angela, like Angela was the head of like you remember the Obamas, the Michelle Obama had the move or exercise or some shit. So like her campaign was like
like health, like
like move around, go to the gym, some shit like that.
Health related.
So we actually met her.
Really?
Yeah, because Angela needed like some people to like work that grant that
Yeah.
the from the Obama program, whatever. So
Shit.
yeah, so they chose Berto chose me that was working with Angela, and that's how I met Angela. Cause yeah,
Oh.
because I saw Angela was cool. So I
Mhm.
at first she was, you know her, she's mean.
Yeah.
So like when I first
She's
met her
tough.
somewhere else, I'm like, fucking, she's mean, bro. And then I realized she was funny.
Yeah.
In Harlem Center. So I would end. It was 2 hours with Angie there, and then I had like an hour and a half gap to get to the other center where I used to work at.
Shit.
So I'm like, damn, I know what to do. So one day Angela was reading a book, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, that was the first book I read.
Oh,
So
okay.
Angela was reading a book, and I was like, oh, it sounds fun. She was like, read it, and I was like, ah, and it was what's the To Kill a Mocking? No, not To Kill a Mocking. Is that what's the Mockingjay?
Oh, from the movies. The
Yeah.
fucking.
Fuck.
It's gonna come to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I read that was the first books I read. She gave them to me, and then she put me onto Harry Potter.
Oh.
So then I was like,
I know she's
ah,
with her Harry Potter.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She loves Harry Potter.
It's great.
So yeah, so then I would just hang out with her, and then flag football started, and she was like she'll play and whatever, and
And you're like, oh shit, Angie's down.
yeah, and then I met Hav, and then Hav was cool too.
So and you met Hav through Angie.
Yeah, because
Okay.
Hav Hav came to watch a game, but then he started going with us to the bar, and then that's
how
it.
you got us
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
bro.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, all right,
Such a vibe.
good times. Yeah, 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 yeah. So it
cool.
was so hard for me to leave because like I wasn't working. I was like
Yeah, and then like exactly, you're having fun
with my
and getting
friend.
paid, bro.
Yeah,
Like that's like
not much, but like
you know, at the time,
yeah.
it's something. So
It was
yeah.
awesome, bro. It was mad fun. And then I finally left. Like they gave me my own center to be the director for. And I was like, and that shit was in the polo grounds, bro. That shit was
Holy
hood as fuck.
shit.
That shit was gangster. Talking about psychology shit, the fact that they built that in almost like circular, like everything's inside,
Like a prison?
like a prison, bro.
Like a prison.
Bro, and you know what else they did inside? Right inside the complex, they had a supermarket, um, a laundry, and something else, like the essentials. Almost like, hey, you don't even gotta leave.
They literally enclosed that.
Yeah, bro.
Fuck.
And they put the center there, so like all
Yeah.
the people. But the shit was the center was in the middle of the complex. So it's like if you beef with someone, like you gotta go all the way in.
Oh.
Yeah, like so everything so it was like a bunch of buildings, whatever, and everything, like I said, was like enclosed. So all roads led to like
That's
to the courtyard and like my center. So that shit was too gangster for me. Number one, I was like, I don't. And then like the guys, I'm like Jeremy, everybody moved on.
Yeah. So,
So
it's like, is it really gonna be the same? Like,
yeah, and then Bridget left me. So I had Bridget. Bridget was in the front desk chilling.
Yeah.
Hey, Bridget, come through, bro. Come with me. But then she ended up leaving.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, I'm just like a direct. I'm just
Yeah.
doing the job.
Now it's just the job.
Yeah, and I said, nah.
All the fun parts like got
Gone,
removed. So
bro. And then like I couldn't play anymore. Like The Office, I was feeding on The Office. So I used to play really aggressive pranks on my co-director. Very aggressive.
like how aggressive are we talking?
So like if she'll leave and I'll put like all the office pranks. Like I'll take her whole office and I'll put it like in the outside of one of the class, so the classrooms had like outside, whatever. I would put it and it would be exactly a replica of her.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
That's a lot of heavy lifting.
I moved it to the bathroom as well, to the women's bathroom. I put her office, everything. Like I said, I used to always move it.
I would hate working with
Yeah, bro. I had kids draw. She moved to she wanted privacy, which was a mistake. So we had like a big office where I had all leadership there, like so we can I'm like, we don't have to call or fucking email, just we're right here. And she got her own space. So I was like, oh word. So I got every kid in that program to just color as much as they can. And then I had the staff. Basically, she was gone for like 2-3 hours. And I covered every piece of the room with like drawings.
I
Everywhere.
guess basically covering it in post-its.
Yeah, exactly. That whole thing. So she got actually mad, I think, because someone was coming. Like she had like an important thing, and we're all playing. What she did to me? When I went away, I think to Costa Rica with Amaris. Yeah, I came back and she was like, Ronnie, I didn't want you to be like feel like any kind of homesick or like really miss Costa Rica. So I thought I would bring Costa Rica to you. And I'm like, what did she do, bro? You know what she did? She took like she had like buckets of sand and she threw it in my. This is the beginning. Like she had like construction paper, projects, like pop ups of like trees, palm trees and shit.
No way.
She took my drawers. She covered it up, filled it with water, and I had fish all in all my drawers.
That's the best fucking
That shit was
comeback.
awesome, bro. That shit was awesome.
Also very expensive prank.
But we used to do that shit all the time. So
She's
fishes,
like, time.
yeah, because I was gone for so long. Yeah. So
it must have taken days.
It
You were
was
gone for Costa Rica for how long? Like a week?
Maybe like a week. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
No. Yeah, we used to go ham
She
with
had
the pranks.
fish in your drawers.
Yeah, bro. Like she was feeding, like, and she was like, yeah, and they didn't get here today. So like we've been feeding them. Yo, that's crazy.
Make sure they're alive.
Yeah,
too.
bro.
The level of commitment is amazing.
Yeah, and that was PAL. Like when all of us were there, like I said, like I used to fucking play a song. I would hide. So we had walkie talkies. I would hide in the roof that my boss didn't know I had access to, and I would play a song over all the walkies, like my favorite song of the morning, and every morning, bro.
They had to just listen.
Yeah, and it was like, I don't know where he is. I can't find him. But,
yo, that's so good.
Yeah, bro. I was trying to hold on to being like a kid.
Yeah.
For so long, and then
fun.
the guys were just leaving me though. Like,
yeah.
And then at that point, I'm like, okay, I gotta get a real job.
It's like this has been fun.
Yeah.
Great.
But I had saved zero money. I had now I love like thinking about stocks and buying houses. That's
which is
life.
what I'm saying. Like just to see how people like mature and progress.
Crazy,
it's like
bro.
night and day.
Yeah, man.
Night and fucking day. Because you went from like not having any savings, like just having fun, and then now you're like investing and doing all this shit and just knowing mad stuff about like finances and whatnot.
Like excited about it and like reading books about it.
Yeah, man. It's
crazy.
It's wild. Like what made you make that switch? I guess like for you, when is it that you realize like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like this is my new path.
Oh, as soon as I got to the DOT, I knew the DOT. So after the PAL thing, I got accepted to work in the DOT.
Oh.
Yeah. So I thought of like all my Hispanic parents, right? It's like get something secure, get a city job for the pension, blah, 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 nonstop. So one day, not one day, I told myself, I'm like, Ronnie, you're going to apply to hundreds and thousands of jobs.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it. Apply for every city job until one of them calls you. I used to every day, bro. Every day I used to apply.
Honestly, like, all the crazy people that would be working in the city or like for the city.
It's just timing.
There's no way. There's no way.
Bro, it's just timing. They call you, you got the job. So DOT called me. I was like, fuck it. I'm in there. Like, it was like I was teaching. You know what I was doing for a lot? I would go into classroom and teach kids about like safety.
Oh, that's when you were like, I remember that's around when we first met. Cause I remember like, yo, if you ever need help putting on, or putting in a car seat, I got you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Bro, I would do 6 hours.
How to put in that car seat.
6 hours every Saturday.
That's insane.
Putting in car seat, and people would show up. Mad people. Like there would be lines of like people, parents or new parents, like bringing seat. I'm like, oh shit, like this is legit. So I knew everything about car. I still know, like, I give me any car seat and I know how to like install it.
Wherever it's manufactured, you got
it. But what I learned there was like, once I got it, I'm like, okay, I'm happy. Like, you figured it out. In my mind.
Like you're set.
Yeah. And then, bro, I'm starting to see like, oh shit, like the culture there of like these jobs that are secure. And like, I never forget, this lady had like, she was marking X's on the calendar. And I'm like, what's that? I'm like, Mama, you go on vacation? Like, she was like, nah, this calendar is like every X. Like the end of this calendar is like when I get to retire. And I'm like, oh, how long you got left? She's like, oh, like 4 years. I was like, whoa, so I'm like, damn, so you out here just counting the days like this is a prison sentence. So immediately I was like, this ain't it, Ronnie. Like, at least not for you. Maybe this is cool for people. And I was like, yeah, I'd rather be broke. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
So I started like, kind of like you, like after Costa Rica, you started like, that hit me like, yo, what do you want? Like, what's like, I was like, I was confused. I was like, I don't know what to do. And then Adrian, of all people, he comes upstairs one day. He's like, yo, Ronnie, you want to make money, bro? You want to learn how to make money?
I can picture him saying
and yeah, like that's probably after like a fucking 2 hour of like research, and then he came up like to,
I got an idea.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I think I do. I think I'm ready to like finally like make some money.
Yeah.
Like, because you think you're doing good, like you get the city job, and it's like, oh, it's like this is
a sense of like security there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but it's not necessarily. Is the comfort of security that you get because they're like, okay, I got this job. Also, if I'm not mistaken, were you under like a union?
Yeah, I was under union.
So like people under union, they don't get fired.
Yeah.
Like it's impossible to get fired under union. So there's a level of comfort there, but then it's like some city jobs, depending, like they don't make as much, or like you're kind of living paycheck to paycheck.
That's what I saw. I was like, that's paycheck to paycheck, and I was like, you get these like set raises, which is awesome.
Yeah, like after like 5 years or something, you're like top pay. Or something.
I guess I didn't care. Like I don't think I still care. Like as long as I can do what I gotta do. Like I was never driven to like have the most money in an account. Like
it's like driven by what, like flexibility then?
Yeah. I want to be free, even if with my freedom I don't do much, but I like being free. I don't like people telling me what to do.
I get it.
Yeah.
Because if you work in the traditional sense, you're somebody's bitch.
100%.
You report to somebody.
Yeah, and I'm very rebellious, so it's like I know myself. So once Adrian said that, and I was like, oh, and then I forgot, I think it was real estate first, and then we learned about the stock market or whatever. But literally ever since that, he was like, yo, I read this book, bro. He's like, I don't know, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I never read before. Read that shit, and I'm like, oh shit.
Like it open your eyes.
Yeah. I read. I give it to everybody, like to read. Whenever I have it in my car, like ready.
What book is it?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a very famous, like, they call it like the real estate Bible. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, like it doesn't teach you anything that you don't, I guess, already know, but it just puts it in a way that's like.
Is it like generational wealth type thing?
Yeah. So he just put like, it's called like Rich Dad Poor Dad because one of his dads, basically he's like comparing the rich dad who's rich dad poor, the rich dad who's building wealth versus the poor dad who's trying to just be rich. So he's the one that's like keeps going to college and school and like just nonstop going
spending so much more.
Yeah, but then like he gets a $10,000 bump, he spends $20,000 more dollars. So he's always like, so he thinks if he keeps going to school, it's that whole cycle,
like the hamster wheel, or like you're on the
golden handcuffs.
Like,
yeah. And then they have like the rich dad, which is like didn't go to school, like has an old ass car, doesn't give a fuck, but he's the happiest guy in the neighborhood, like and he's trying to build wealth. So like, it goes for him as like exponential growth. It's not study growth, whatever. And once I learned that, I was like, I don't want to be this guy. I'm like, I want this guy. Like, I don't mind having an old car.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, like this guy seems like he don't give a fuck.
That's so true. But it's true. They are like, I feel like, and working where I'm working now, like you could also tell, because as advertising, there's a lot of like entrepreneurs and stuff like that you meet, and you can very much see the split and like tell the difference between like, oh, you are just like, you're willing to like just take those risks and like just like say fuck it. And then there's other folks that are like a little bit more studying. They're like, nah, I'm good. Like you can take the risks. I'll help you out like from here. But like it's very, very, and also personalities is also really different. Cause like,
hell yeah,
like people on that side where they're very much those entrepreneurs, they don't really do structure.
Yep. That's so funny.
They don't do structure. They don't comprehend it. I'm very much on the other side.
Yeah.
Like, and also I'm very much like the planner or whatever. Like our job is to create those structures so that these people can succeed.
Yeah.
But without that, bro, it's like literally like it's chaos.
Yo,
like they're like,
bro.
we have all these ideas, but we don't have those the people that can actually structure it in
Yeah.
a way that could be like you can execute
Yeah,
it.
it's the real world shit.
Yeah.
You know
So-
what's crazy? There's a book called The E-Myth, the entrepreneur myth, for some random book that I read. But point is, like, he talks about, like, in order for you to be, like, successful in, like, this business thing, you need to have, like, there's 3 hats. Like, there's the dreamer, the manager, and the technician. And it's so funny because you described the dreamer, who's like up in the clouds, like, but you, like, my so it's like 4 of us in what I do. 2 of them are dreamers.
Yeah.
There, I'm like, Mike, what the fuck are you, like, Mike especially, I'm
And
like,
you need all of those
yeah,
people
100%, bro. Like, I'm like, Mike, what the fuck? We're doing this right now.
What are you
He's like,
talking
yeah, Ronnie,
about?
but I'm talking about when we blow up again, like when we scale at scale, Ronnie. Where is this? And I'm like, oh, Mike, I hear you at scale,
Like,
but
hold on to that.
But this year we got to hit our numbers. But he's like, yeah, we'll get there. But the important thing is that we build this to, and like, I'm like, yo, I'm so grateful that I work with them because like, I'm not a full on entrepreneur. I learned a couple years ago. I'm like, I can play. I like to not be told what to.
Like,
Yeah,
you dabbling
like,
a little bit.
I don't want my boundaries like this. I want huge boundaries. Let me play within, but I still need boundaries.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to do the shit that y'all do. So I bring them back. They kind of expand my horizon. Like, it's a good balance. Yeah. And then Amaris is funny. She's like, so she works directly with Ryan, who's one of the dreamers. So it's so funny.
And
like,
her personality is very much a planner.
Yes.
Like, hold on, we need
detail oriented.
These things. Yeah.
But funny enough, he's like, I chose her because he described Amaris. I'm like, he's like, okay, according to
what they need is their opposite.
Yeah. So he's like, look, he told me this. He's like, look, I'm the dreamer. Like, I need someone who can, like, but I'm like, and then we took like a disc and we figured out, like, okay, this is the kind of person we need. I'm like, oh shit, that's Amaris. I was like, what the fuck?
Like, all these things, yeah.
And I'm like, yo,
it breaks it down to, like, and there's a lot of, like, those, like, personality tests.
Yeah.
For, like, what type of work you would be, like, successful in, or that fits your personality. Yeah, it's all those things.
That shit was funny, bro. Because I was like, yo, bro, it's not because she's my girl, like. But I think you should.
That's legit.
You should speak to her. Like, I think you guys will work. Like, you know, and they work together, and it's a cat and mouse.
Because you need the balance. It's literally a checks and balance.
Yeah,
system.
Legit.
Yeah, like, that's how you could be successful. Because then if it sways, we're like way too much on the dreamer side.
Man, come back.
You're not getting anything done. If it sways a little bit too much on the other side,
too conservative,
just doing the same shit. There's the innovation. Like, it's crazy to see that kind of stuff. Like, that side of, like, psychology and all of that still fascinates me, of, like, how personalities, like, fit within society, how we, like, mold ourselves, or how people mold to fit certain things and stuff, or just, like, to have it work for you. Like, that shit is wild.
Yeah, I mean, the shows you watch is probably a lot.
I love, like, a lot of, like, those crimes.
You said
and,
The
like,
Outsiders, right?
The Outside. I think it's just The Outsider.
Okay.
But it's like Stephen King.
Yeah.
Or something. I
have to watch.
I never read the book, or that it was inspired from, but that's great.
Okay.
It's pretty good. Like,
Silo got crazy.
Silo?
You didn't see.
We saw it yesterday. So spoiler alert.
Yeah, we're going full spoiler. Wait, which one did you see? Because I don't want to fuck your shit up.
So we saw. She already had gotten the helmet. It's like the next day or whatever.
Yeah.
Next day. She's helping Solo, the guy in the vault, helping him bring back the electricity.
Yeah.
And stuff. And she's like, no, I gotta get back to, my side.
Okay, so you saw. Okay, so we're on the same page.
Yes,
bro.
The end,
bro.
Because we're watching it. We're like, oh my god. I had a feeling. I was like, she's gonna learn how to swim.
Yeah.
She's gonna do it, or whatever. She, like, runs out of water, and the rope falls. I was like, at first I was like, now was it Silo? It was a Solo.
Yeah,
Solo's not gonna do it. Maybe he is, though, because he just used her. But then he's almost like a big kid also throughout this whole show, where you kind of feel that sympathy for him. Is he that much of a, like, is he fucking with her that mentally? Where, like, I'm gonna pretend I'm this, like, really innocent, naive,
that's
like,
what I think. That's what I think it is.
Right? That does that. Or, and this was Morgan's theory, he was like, what if they're not the only ones in there? Because at the end, she's like, she looks up and she's looking for him, and she like gets up out of the water. She's like treading water. It looks like somebody is looking at her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If it was solo, they'll just show.
They would just show.
I feel like looking at her, but it makes it seem like this like brand new person.
Oh, and there was blood.
There was blood.
Because I was like, the way I justified it, which is stupid now that you said that, I was like, maybe he cut himself when he was trying to cut the rope, but that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no.
That makes more sense. That there's someone else.
And then you know what connected the dots for me too? And maybe you got that too, but when they were back in her silo, you know how the head of IT named this dude, I forgot his name, the friend of Juliet, the shadow. I was like, oh my God, that's Solo. Like, he's basically in Solo's position, because remember, Solo's like living in the vault. The head of IT takes the guy, his new shadow, to the vault. He's like, oh, this is the living quarters. It has this, it has that, it has like all of the history of humanity.
Bro, when I saw that,
oh my God, he's gonna be he's basically like the same replica.
Yeah,
like
he has to stay there forever. Yeah,
he has to stay there forever, and he's now the designated survivor. Have you ever watched that show? Also, really good show. It didn't last long, but like he was basically the designated survivor. Like if shit goes down, he has to lock himself.
You ever read The Giver? Or heard of The Giver?
I did. I read it like so long ago. I
don't
remember.
Probably in high school. That's when So in The Giver, it's like everyone gets like a role assigned to them. So in the community, blah blah, and the main character, they don't say his name, and everyone's confused, and they pull him out later, and basically he's given all the memories of past societies. Yeah, so I'm like, I wonder if that was probably inspired.
Burden. Yeah.
So, because like that's what you're doing. You basically now have to carry that burden of like to.
I think I honestly think that's what it is. Like they become the designated survivor, like
to pass on,
and then it's also someone I would assume relatively intelligent, because like this dude is gonna have to understand all of the information, all of the books, everything, retain all of that, make sense of that and stuff, and then hopefully carry that on into the next society if they survive, or what have you. So it's just such a wild, like that show. I love shows that like touch on that. Like I feel like there's that one. There's another one called it's more like not at like a little bit more like fiction.
Okay.
Like it, because it has like they're like a like not really.
So they're like more on the side.
Fallout. No,
Fallout.
Fallout is like the game.
Yeah.
But Fallout is like similar to that. Gotcha. Where like a nuclear something blows up, and then people are living in these enclosed spaces, like bunkers, like underground or whatever bunkers and stuff like that. And then they have some have some recollection of like what's outside or what's left of it.
Yeah.
But they don't know the extent. It kind of gives me that like Silo vibe, that if it happened earlier on, you know how Silo happens, like it's 300 plus years since shit went down up above or on Earth and stuff. So it kind of gives me that vibe. But then in that show too, it's a more fun show, but still pretty gruesome. But in that show, you also see like how people are given roles, like what's being told to them. Because you also have to like, from like a higher up kind of standpoint, you gotta sell it. Like it's still like some form of marketing to these people.
100%.
Like, to keep them in line. To like sell them on like, staying here is better than out there. So you have to create fear. You have to like, it's just wild.
Silo, it touches on a lot. That's why it's so good. Like, like the suppression, all that shit. Like it's all stuff that
it's like, it's all those kinds of things where it's like, no matter how much we evolve, we're still so fucking simple. Because in that like setup, right, you have everyone living underground. Obviously something so terrible, whether it's like created by man or not. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, I don't know if they've really gone into it. I think
Yeah.
it's like something in the air or something
Yeah,
they mentioned.
yeah.
But right. But if the assumption is like something like nuclear, like they have in like fallout and stuff like that,
Yeah.
you create this society underground in hopes to continue on the race,
Yeah.
right? And like the human race
Think some things.
our species
Yeah,
can
yeah.
continue in some way, but we set ourselves up in the same fucking social systems of creating oppression, of creating all of these classes, like the lower class or the ones in mechanical, which is kind of wild to me because I'm like, they have the control.
Yeah, but right, you see that thought that you just had? That's
Yeah.
the same thought that you can
Because of the masses,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
those who are at the bottom, there's more of them.
Yeah.
So technically they have more powers because there's powers in numbers.
Mhm.
So it's a really wild thing. Like I think like those kinds of things, I'm like, yo, that's fucking
It's
crazy.
a sick show. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's fucking
Yo,
crazy.
fuck, man. I never thought of I guess I was going crazy. I was like, what's the blood? And I literally just discounted it. I was just like, it's just
Because remember too, like
Fuck.
when Juliet got there, got to that area, or like
Mhm.
first saw Solo behind the vault, right before she got there, there were 2 people that were murdered.
Oh,
It
that's
wasn't-
right. Right,
yeah.
right at the vault.
Right at the vault. And
Yeah.
it's like you can tell like those bodies haven't been there that
Yeah,
long.
and they wanted us to notice it, right? Because
Yeah.
they stayed on that.
So it's saying that like other vaults, like obviously,
Yeah.
or other silos, I guess, they know about each other.
Yeah, because she said there was like 56 or something, right?
Mhm. And then when she first came out, she saw like, or they did a pan out and they showed the different silos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like also, I mean, granted, her silo has been pretty suppressed.
Yeah.
On, like the truth or whatever. Since she was like the first one to make it out and stuff out of the.
Oh
Like-
shit! And they did tell us. You remember when this girl took the current shadow, now the new shadow
Mhm.
of to that place with the water.
Yep.
And he was like, somebody asked somebody like how does this water get here? And they were like, oh, we don't know. It just comes. Now,
Yeah.
like, it's probably like another silo's in charge of like.
Or like they're connected.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So that's the thing too. Like they touched on it. I don't know. It wasn't this past episode.
The electricity.
Mhm.
That it's only in IT. Like, so there's
Only
like
in
probably
IT.
like a main source that powers
Yeah.
all the.
I feel like it's definitely connected. And then it's
Yeah.
also, there was a episode, maybe not this last one or the one that we saw before, where it's like the 2 mechanical that are kind of like leading the rebellion or the revolution or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
that they went to this spot or like this, it was below and it was like a wall and
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of like
yeah,
writing
yeah.
all over it. They're like, oh, I don't know what this means. It's like sealed off or blocked
Yeah.
off, and they didn't understand why and stuff. I'm like, that probably connects to another
To
side.
another silo.
Because you think about it, it's like taking place 300 plus years after
Yeah.
the fact. When you would think that the logic or the history of creating these silos is that, yes, you have these different, silos in these different areas, but at some point they have to interconnect.
Yeah.
At some point, or to like
And
continue on.
Maybe they did it initially. And then they realized like, oh shit, like
it's harder to control. Like the masses.
Yeah.
When there's so much like
one leader is saying
communication.
this, and then they're like, yo, but this guy.
And isn't that reflective of like today?
Exactly,
Like,
bro.
with the internet, with everything,
Everything
we're so
connected.
interconnected. It's very hard for governments to hide things
Yeah.
or keep things silent as like it used to be.
The first thing you see when like any politician like says different things, the first thing you're gonna see is a montage of like they said this and then they're saying this here,
and then they flip-flopped on that.
It's so funny because some politicians can't adjust to that because they're like, what do you mean? Like, like I was in North Carolina here in Alabama, like, and fucking Seattle here. How the fuck? And it's like, not anymore, bro.
Even today, like, you think
Everything.
about the fucking drones in New Jersey. I feel like everyone would have like just blown it over their shoulder or had questions about it, right? But with social media and everything, everyone's like, yo, yes, these drones.
Yeah, but like for real though. For real, have you seen this?
Is this normal? And like it's a whole compilation, and then
Yo.
that gets picked up by the media. And now the media is like, yo, what is going on with those
What the fuck
drones?
is that, bro?
Yeah.
Yo, what do you think? I don't want any logical answer.
Like, what do you mean logical?
I don't want any logical answer.
Okay.
What are the drones, man?
I got two theories.
Okay. That's what I'm here for.
Two theories. I'll give it the logical one because it is what it is.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
boring. So my logical thing is they're definitely US owned.
Yeah.
There's no way that the US is just gonna have random shit flying near New York and over just the US period without knowing what it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, I know they're playing the, oh, we don't know, or oh, like, we're figuring it out. They know what it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's like military testing things, whatever. I also heard the theory of like there's like potential threats or whatever that they're like scanning for in this area, which I'm like, okay, whatever. But then I also saw like videos of them flying over Newark Airport. I was like, hell, now I know for sure
that
it's us because there's no fucking way. Like, they're not gonna have like any wild shit go down like that. So that was my first theory. The fun one.
There you go.
Is aliens for
there you go.
It's aliens. Like,
that's it, bro.
It is. And like obviously, like, you know, everyone's been fascinated with aliens and the whole story, ET, all that shit. But then you start digging into like the scientific community. That honestly, it's funny. Like, my dad, I'm taking it back a little bit. So my dad, he was a science teacher, but he still is. He's alive. He is fascinated. Well, obviously when he was working, but he's always been super fascinated with like astronomy, with like physics, with like understanding the outside world, like how the Big Bang Theory. Like, we grew up watching the Science Channel and stuff. And he loved what's his name? He talks about the fucking sky.
Mustache, black dude.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, him.
I'm blanking, but him, always watching that kind of stuff. And I remember growing up and like even as teenagers, as we would like sit and like watch with him and stuff, I was like, yo, ba, you really think like aliens are real? Like, I don't know. I think they could be kind of real. Like, because in my head, I was like, you know, we're watching all these shows. They're like, you have no idea like, they don't know what's out there. Yeah. They have no clue what's out there. And my dad was like, yeah, he's like, there's no way that we're the only ones. Now, granted, the way we came to be is very much like a miracle in some ways, right? Like, so many variables.
The only way it works is a miracle is occurring because we can't explain it.
To think that couldn't happen if we are so infinite. Yeah. Right? That couldn't happen in another solar system, in another galaxy. Like, he's like, no. Like, we were like little bits of bacteria or whatever
from different explosions,
and then
probably.
Like combined, whatever. Like, all of these things. Like, there's no possible way. And I was like, yeah, bro. Like, I think that's like my stance on it. And that's always been my stance on it. After that, like after hearing that, I was like, there's no chance. It's just, I think it's too egotistical to think that we are the only ones. Yeah. That's very, very human to be like, yeah, no, it's just us, bro. No. And then after like obviously seeing a lot of things, was it COVID that they did classified a whole bunch of shit?
Oh, yeah.
Without telling nobody. Yeah, like, oh, by the way, our military has been seeing like flying saucers, all these things for ages.
That's fucking crazy.
The way the US did it was hilarious to me. Like, that's a joke. Yeah. Like, to just like have a giant global pandemic, have everyone riled up about it and be like, yo, by the way, we're not alone. Like, it's not just us. Yo. Like, that shit is insane to me. So I think it's aliens. Yeah. I think the funner answer is aliens. And then I was also obviously, I have gone down the rabbit hole. I've gone down the rabbit hole with Morgan, especially once we found out about like Bob Lazar.
Yeah. He was, yeah.
I was like, nah, man. And then all of the things he said end up being true.
Come on,
He's like
son.
the Cat Williams of this of the
Come on,
science.
son. That ass. You think he's crazy, and then you're like, yo,
It's kind of true though.
and he stuck to his guns, and
And then they tried to like lie on him and say like he didn't go to this university, he didn't work here.
then he's out here saying word. Because if you make a left and then you go and they confirmed all that shit.
Everything, all the like technology that he was talking about, even like as simple as like the shape.
Yeah.
And how like he would say like it is this flying saucer.
It's like a
but
sphere with
like it kind of gives that kind of saucer look to it. But what we all see in the movies is like those saucers stay horizontal and like move or whatever. But from his explanation, if I remember correctly, it would turn completely vertically. So it almost looks like an oval shape like this. And then it would like travel and propel forward super
without
quick.
any like, because we're used to, right, for like if something goes forward, something's being exhausted. Yeah.
And it didn't have that. They somehow like were able to like figure out gravity in a way that we could.
Yeah, bro.
Or whatever. And I'm like, oh shit. Which I was like, that's really interesting. But I remember when some of the stuff that went declassified or whatever, there was like videos coming out.
Yeah.
And it was one in particular of like, I think it was like a guy in an Air Force, and it's from his perspective, and you could tell he's like radioing and he's talking to someone, and he sees something in the sky, and he's like, yo, like, what do I do? Do I shoot it down? Like, he's like waiting for the go ahead.
Yeah.
And you look over to the viewpoint, and it's literally that saucer vertical. And I was like, oh my God, that's Bob.
That's the same. Yo.
He was right. But yeah, it's the wildest thing.
I don't know, bro.
I don't think it's crazy to think that aliens are real at this point. I feel like if millennials have anything, they get a pass on believing anything is fucking possible at this moment.
They've been exposed to wild.
We've been through too much
shit
for us to be like, you know what? Fuck it. Aliens could be
real. Bro.
Like, bring them the fuck
on. I really want them to be people. I'm all in on this theory because it matches with
like multiple timelines.
I want that to be true with the whole like time, caveman, whatever, blah blah blah. Something happens, you go backwards. Let's say now we go to fucking year 4000, but then something bad happens, we go back to like, and like there's just different.
So do you feel like it's like that theory? Because I know there's like a couple theories on this, right?
I'm not talking about the multiple at the same time.
Do you think, so are you talking about that we, in a sense, because there's also a theory that I don't know how true any of these things are, but one of the theories is that we're living in a simulation.
Yeah, that's, by the way, this is all stupid tin cap shit. So
I love tin cap shit. Yeah. Bring it the fucking, I have the foil cap.
Yeah.
So is that, I feel like, does that align with like what you're talking about? Is like we're all living in a simulation, like no, maybe
not a simulation. I don't think, we always think like if they be like, yo, Daniela, go to, whatever, go to my house, right? People always think like it's from A to B.
Right.
But it's not. Like if I send 5 people to do the same thing, one's gonna go this way, one goes that way.
Right.
Like,
there's different options.
So what I think is that like we go whatever, and then something happens, and then we start civilization over again. But you think we're gonna take this route again, but we don't. We invent something here. So right,
so like time traveling.
Not time travel, but more like the same. Like we're never gonna do the same thing twice or 3 times. Like every time we restart, it's gonna be we're still gonna figure out a vehicle that moves us, but maybe it's not a car. Like maybe we don't invent a wheel, maybe we invent something else. Whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take it. You're good.
No.
But yeah, like you create something else. I'm thinking, I guess the pyramids is like a good example. Like we don't know what the pyramids were for. Maybe that's a past society that went this way.
No, bro. It's so funny. I have a lot of people that talk because they bring that up in a lot of the shows.
Yeah. That's where I got it from.
Yeah, but I took all my classes were like art history classes. I took ancient Egyptian art and stuff because it was just fun. I was like, I get to learn.
So you learned about the pyramids. Yeah.
And what's crazy is that like the claim is that oh, they didn't have the technology to be able to create these great pyramids, and they were so perfect, and like how do you create something so perfect, and they were such a primitive
Yeah.
society. When in Yes, from our perspective now, but back then they were actually like a pretty advanced
That's
society.
what I'm saying.
Like the ancient Egyptians were very advanced. They were very smart. They also like there's also a argument of like that's also like they say it's like embedded racism because they don't stake those claims for like the ancient Greece
Yeah.
creating like the Parthenon and stuff like that. They
Yeah.
don't say those claims. But if it's ancient Egyptians, then all of a sudden, oh no. Like there's
But
no way.
that's some whole other shit though.
Sort of, but like you think about the similar structures that were created in other, like let's say other parts of the world
Yeah.
and stuff, like they're not questioning that. It's always a question of like why the ancient Egyptians. There's always like the mysticism of like ancient
Yeah.
Egyptians because there's also like the religion that's tied to it too, like the pharaohs and all of those kinds of things. But like when I studied it, it's funny. It's like yes, the pyramids were perfect, but they weren't perfect to start with. Like there was progression in
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
able to create that. Like the pyramids weren't these like completely flat sided structures. Like when they first created the pyramids, there were step pyramids. Like a lot of what you see in like ancient Mexico and
Yeah.
stuff like that, that it's not complete
Yeah.
flat
Yeah.
sides.
It's
It's
like
almost like weird steps.
yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
That's how they created pyramids. A lot of the like well, a lot of they had pyramids everywhere. Granted, those were like the three great pyramids.
Yeah.
Behind that are like the smaller versions because that's where they would like have pyramids for like their spouses or
Yeah.
whatever, their kids, if anything. They would bury them in separate pyramids and stuff. But there were multiple pyramids throughout like
That's,
ancient
yeah.
Egypt
Yeah. Yeah.
and stuff. And a lot of the original ones were step. And it was over time. Like you see the progression like in through art and stuff like that of how they progress to that point.
Yeah.
But it is pretty fucking amazing
It's
that they were
fucking
able to
crazy.
create that
And
with like, you know, rivers, boats. They created like dolly systems, like all these kinds of things to be able to like bring those
that's what makes me
stones up.
think, bro, that I'm like, nah, like that shit like that. Like you, because you think of like, again, like you think of it like step by step, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
cavemen and then this and then this. So you're like, there's no way they could have done that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, nah, that might not be the case. Like again, it could be like their society, like it just so happened like maybe Africa didn't get hit with what this is like the other side of the world got hit with. So like their progression continued while everyone else had to take a step back because of the ice age or whatever the fact. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no communication, right?
Yeah.
So like everyone is in different places, all creating different things, different stages. Who's dealing is China fucking dealing with a tsunami, boom,
Yeah.
starts all over again.
But it's only, but that, I feel like that only considers our planet,
No, so
that theory,
what I'm saying
right?
is, let me bring it back. So
Yeah,
in my
sorry, I'm
mind,
trying to
yeah,
connect it because I'm
yeah.
like, but that's also kind of like from an ego place where it's like, oh, it's only happening.
No. So what I'm thinking now too is that one of those societies, because it keeps going back, made it far enough to bounce.
Okay.
And what I'm guessing is like once they bounced, maybe that opened the door to like, oh shit, there's other people there, and I think we just get visited.
Okay.
Like you got confirmation that these people, because they left, so they came from somewhere. Where they came from here. Oh shit, let's go check it out.
That's still another like it's like a alternate like reality, kind of.
Yeah.
Like a second like
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So like it, yeah, because on the restart, that's my way of saying the second one. So I hope that's people that want to see what we've been up to, the drones.
just like check it out.
They just want to see
Like,
like
what's going
what
on?
have we missed? And
I
then
don't know. Like, here's the thing. Like, I feel like if you're so developed, because you have to get from a scientific standpoint,
yeah,
extremely developed
yeah,
to be able to travel to another planet or
Yeah.
another wherever, right? You only got technology just to like check us out. Like at that point, I feel like haven't you developed more advanced technology to check us out from back there? Like, do you really need to
To come
come
see
here to check? Like, what is it? Maybe it's just
I
curiosity
was
or
gonna say
exploration,
it could be
right?
that, like, right, like we know, like it would be bomb to see the pyramids. Like it's cool to talk about them, but it'll be,
Yeah.
I'm sure, it'll be another thing to actually see them.
Yeah.
But you see, but then I'm again, it's bringing the ego because I'm looking at it from like
Yeah.
the human perspective.
Because the way I see it, I feel like I take it from the complete perspective of like, you know how we just were created by happenstance, or like all of these variables and evolution and all these kinds of things. I think the exact same thing happened on another planet. Maybe it's not the exact same, you know, bacteria or whatever that would create us, that makes us look like us. Maybe it was maybe the exact same one, but due to their explosion and all of their variables, they evolved to look different. But I think that is definitely something else happening over here. They're definitely evolving at a faster rate from where we are, based off of their timeline, their like whatever
or the
sun that's revolving.
direction
Yeah, like how fast their planet is spinning.
Exactly.
You know, like we just don't know like all of the other variables. But they out here and they've been able to, they're like kind of like us, but they're like miles ahead. Like I feel like hundreds of years ahead. I mean, granted, our technological jump was pretty quick. I feel like you never know. They've probably been at it for longer.
That's what it is.
They've
And then remember, growth, like
evolving.
especially, like all of that happens like exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
Like think about the first iPhone, bro, versus like what we could do with this shit now.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Or just like evolution period, bro. Like not even that long ago. Like we have like extra fucking organs that we don't fucking use or need anymore.
Our wisdom teeth.
Our appendix. Like it's just there. But like
bro.
we needed that shit. It's like a like full evidence of like, yeah, we're evolving. And we're evolving like we're in the midst of that now because we have these like body parts that we just don't need anymore.
We're getting we're gonna be smaller, bigger heads.
Are gonna get bigger and shit. Like, it's gonna be wild.
It's probably, but again, it's probably our U.S. government.
Oh yeah,
they were like, yo, look, we might need these drones. We don't. There's like, how do we gotta like be able to manage them and a large amount of them and stress test this. There's no place. There's only one place, guys. Where? Real. Right here in the U.S. I don't know what to tell you.
No, man. And it's just so wild because like diving deeper into like the whole Bob Lazar thing, like he was talking about like how working it was an Area 50s, whatever. It was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those where they, in very military kind of like style, they had each scientist work on a specific component. Yeah. You don't know how it fit in with the other components. Atom bomb shit. Yeah, like you don't know, like you get just this one thing. You don't know how it fits in with everything else. You don't know like what the goal is. You just have to focus on this one thing and stuff. So he talks about how they broke it down, how like the government like only told them about certain things, and if you know about something else, that means there's like information was
somebody snitched.
It's just so freaking wild. And then they throw in lies in there just in case, so that if something does get leaked, they know exactly where it came from. Yeah, like fucking psychological shit. But like they talk about, I remember he was talking about how they discovered new elements because of this.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
I was like, what do you mean you just...
They talk about like they figured out fiber optics through the shit that they learned from...
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, it was elements too, or certain elements that were not found.
Here, yep. He talks about one big one. I forgot the name of it, but that's how they discovered it. It comes from like outer space. That's crazy.
I'm like, there's no way that we're not by ourselves.
Yeah. This shit is mad big.
It is. Yeah. It is. And I feel like the possibilities are endless, but I don't know. Like, what would you think? Like, let's go with it. Yeah. The drones, they're looking for aliens. They are aliens, whatever. What do you think is like their motive? Like, what do you think their goal is?
I think I'm guessing, right? So they came to see, they're scouting like a potential new place.
Okay.
Um, if they maybe they have the ability to learn from us without communicating with us. So that could be another thing. Like maybe those are just like researchers, literally, like trying to
Yeah.
see like or art, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they've like they've never, or maybe they're so superior that like you are no threat. Like,
I feel like that's what it
you know
is.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
because if they made it this far, then it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, like
Yeah.
just even if you shoot me, I'm not taking it personal.
I feel like I just wonder because I feel like the the more a society evolves, obviously the more people evolve.
Yeah.
And then like are they at the point where they're so evolved where even the thought of like war is like primal?
Yeah.
Like just like for what?
That does, yeah.
Like that's where I'm like maybe the aliens should be real. Like do they want to drop a documentary for us? Like just let us know like what's your vibe, bro? Because that's really interesting to me.
Who
Or
knows?
are those kinds of things just like is that just how it happens? Like if we're going off of my theory of like okay they kind of evolved on their own, they're their own kind of species, people, whatever. How does that like how are you guys? Like, how do you guys function?
Yeah.
How's your societies? Like, how do you communicate with one another?
Yeah. Do you guys talk? Is it like, is that stupid?
Because like you learn from like, okay, take us, right? And in the world. And on Earth. Like we obviously communicate as humans, and then we know that different animals communicate in their own way. Like they create, some are advanced enough that they have their own social kind of societies and things like that. So it's like, yo, what are your animals?
Yeah.
Bro?
Fucking Pokemon.
Yo, honestly, son, like you like what's the vibe out there?
Yeah. And like right there's like we look at things like, right, do you have like, we have only 5 senses. That's how we communicate with the world. Like how do you communicate with the world?
Because right, are they like a hybrid, like where I mean, again, all we know is what's on Earth. Are they communicating through speech? Are they like, do they
Is
use
it here?
echolocation?
Yeah. Oh yeah, vibration.
Right?
Like is it just reading minds?
Is it
That's
just reading
technically
vibes? Like,
or is it dead ass though?
do they have like the sixth, the spidey sense? Like, what's the vibe? That's what I want to know.
Me too, bro.
I don't know if I'm ready to know that in this lifetime, but I'm so ready for aliens.
Yeah, bro. It'll be fun.
That would be so
I hope it'll be fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, all you can hope, right? Like, you know,
like, bro, we in the silo.
Like, chill. They're pretty chill. Like, have you ever had weed? That's kind of nice.
Try this, bro.
Liquor, this is fun.
They hit us with some wild shit.
Yo, that would be insane.
You've never done shrooms, right?
No. I would be afraid to ever
Me too,
do
man.
anything.
I really want to do it once, but I'm scared. You know?
I mean, I went to an art schools all my life. There was a lot of drugs.
I figured.
But I've had a few friends in high school that did it. There was one in particular. It was hilarious, but I would be like petrified if that were me.
Hell yeah.
So apparently he had taken shrooms and stuff, and it was him and a group of friends. And I don't know if they got hungry or whatever. They wanted to go to like the bodega. It was like a block down, like they lived on a hill. It was a block down from where they lived, and it hit. It set in. And he was like, I was walking down that hill for like 4 hours. But what happened was, with all the cars that were parked, he thought somebody was trapped inside. So each car,
he was trying to save them.
Help. Oh my God, I'll get you out. Oh my God. And he's like banging on it. And he was like, hours go by. And it's like each car, it's like it happened again.
A new story, yeah.
And I was like, that sounds horrifying.
That sounds like a fucking nightmare. You're trying to wake up. I'm hoping it. I I would like to try so I can really like, but then I'm like, damn, what if I get too crazy after?
Because that too, like apparently that's a thing.
Yeah,
Like
that's the thing with weed. Like that people don't talk about. Like yo, I brownies, bro. Like I guess the edibles, bro.
Very strong.
That happened to me once. Me and Amaris took a edible. I left her house, and she was on Fort Wash. I'm going up to Broadway, so it was a little bit of a hill, and I was super high, bro.
Yeah.
And I forgot how to walk. Ask Amaris, bro. I had a FaceTimer, and I'm like, yo, it was like an hour after I left, and I'm like, and I caught FaceTimer, and I'm like, am I walking? And I was like, I'm like, she's like, she started that she's high too, and I'm like, yo, I'm serious. Am I walking? I'm like, she's like, are you still outside? I'm like, look, I'm right here. Like, she's like, what? I'm like, yo, I can't walk. I'm just like this in place. So I guess I did it for like 20 minutes, and then I realized like I'm walking in place. Like I think I'm walking in place. I couldn't figure it out. You know, I got home, bro. I had the only way like the perspective will adjust enough for me to know to walk forward is I had to follow people. So I had to get all the way home like I would
watching
walk.
their feet.
Yeah, and then if they would like turn, then I would have to wait for the next person like a creep. And that's how I made it home that day. Like just following. I'm like, okay, that person is going straight. Yeah, so that's why I'd be scared of a shroom.
Shit, yeah, no, I don't know. That part would scare me.
Yeah.
Like I've taken weed like really. I think you guys. It was the one that had it was like coquito or whatever.
From recently?
It wasn't recent. I was living in Dykeman by then.
Let me see. Oh wait,
that was like for the holidays or something, or why on the holidays?
Was someone in your fire escape?
No, that was Cinco de Mayo, and that was Jeremy.
Jeremy. Okay. Yeah.
Thank God he did not, but yeah. No, it was another day. I remember I'd given Amaris a bottle.
Yeah.
I had a bottle and stuff. Me and Morgan took it. That was the strongest weed I've ever taken. Like it was a bad. Morgan had a bad experience with it, but I remember myself, and I like taken edibles before where like I felt nice, I felt high, but nothing like that. I was like, yo, is this?
What the fuck is this?
Is this just
yeah?
Because I remember like starting to feel it, and then I feel like because I was on the couch, I feel like, yo. I feel like my brain went somewhere else, and then I thought mad time passed by. I was like, yo, and I was like the TV was on and stuff, and I remember, which was funny, like right before it hit, I was looking at the time because we had the clock or whatever below the TV. I was like, okay, is this time? I don't know why, but I was like, keep that in mind, like what time it is. Cool. Had my moment or whatever, and like I'm coming back and I'm like looking at the TV. I'm looking at Morgan, he's not looking too great, and I look at the TV and I'm like, because it felt like literally, I kid you not, I'm like, yo, a good like 45 minutes, an hour passed. It was like 2 minutes, and I was just like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, it was like such a weird, and then like it was super trippy and stuff. And after some time, I'm still thinking, I'm like, yo, this has been like a full like hour plus now. We're in like 2 hour mark. I look over, not even a full hour had passed by. And I'm just like, oh my God, like I don't want to, like, this does not feel good.
Nah, yeah.
And again, I was like, maybe it was just too much weed. Maybe,
Probably.
yeah. But after that, I was like, if I'm losing touch with like time, like, you get drunk, right? I was very used to like liquor or whatever.
Yeah.
And sure, you get really drunk, but you still have like your senses.
Yeah.
Right?
And
like,
you can tell like it's getting later.
Right. Like you got the
important.
concept of time like down.
Lights
still.
on, like,
even if you're like passed out, you wake up and you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I did not have, I like feel like I lost that sense of like time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, if I lose my sense of time, I'm gonna lose my sense of space, and I'm gonna be like,
nah. You see how close you are?
I can never do that.
Nah, I'm good, bro.
Never do.
You know, one time, it doesn't sound disgusting, but I think I took an edible with Remy and like Chico and I think I had to take a shit. And I didn't make it. And not that I should, like, I didn't make it to take a shit. I didn't shit on myself, but I didn't make it take a shit before I got high.
Oh no, so you had to go when you were high?
I didn't know. So I couldn't sleep. I would sit in the toilet, but I don't know if I was like trying to share. But like basically the whole night I was just holding my ass cheeks.
Holding that physically.
Because in my mind, yeah, like holding my butt, like, yo, bro, please don't shit on yourself. That had to be, I kid you not,
for the high to,
bro. Because I'm like, yo, I don't know if I got to use the bathroom or not. Like,
oh my God, that must be terrifying.
son, that was brutal. That was the worst. I think because I'm a great sleeper. I sleep easy. That had to be I think my worst night ever. Because you don't know if you're gonna shit on yourself.
And then you're too high. You can't even like. Oh my God. Yeah. I would. Yeah. Thankfully that's never happened. But I'm scared of those kinds of things.
Yeah, man.
And then I was watching a documentary. What was it? I think it was on Netflix. That Gwyneth Paltrow one, Goop something.
I saw. I never watched it.
It's like I don't know how many, if they have multiple seasons, but the first season, I thought it was actually a pretty cool docuseries because she kind of explores all these different like modalities of like health and like fitness and spiritual health and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know if it was through that show where like she showed like Wim Hof and like that whole kind of thing too, like Wim Hofing and in the cold and stuff like that. I wonder
if I did see it.
I don't know if it was if that was the same one or maybe it was something different. But she also did an episode on like people who go and like do ayahuasca or like on those trips
to go down to South America.
It's like Peru, I think it is, or Chile or something that they do it. And she like goes and then, or I don't know if it was that documentary or maybe like another one where it was like another health documentary where they showed like people going through that experience and like, they talk about like the spiritual awakening, but they just talk about their experience of like what they hallucinate and like coming out of it and like, you know, the physical, like throwing up, doing all this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know how people would do it.
Yeah, bro.
Like I get it for like, you know, if they're having this like spiritual awakening,
they're really looking for it.
Like there's a lot of stuff, you know, behind that or like woo woo stuff behind that. But like that's still like, I was like, you know what it is? I think my own mind scares me. Like, where can your mind go?
And you're about to open the floodgates,
right? Opening the fucking portal, bro. Like it's what, you know, it's so funny, like thinking about that, because you don't know the ends of your own psyche. I don't feel like there's so much that like people are like aware of or self-aware of. And there's a lot of things that just like live in your subconscious.
Yeah, your subconscious.
That shit is fucking wild.
Your subconscious is IT, bro. Just like you ain't gotta see this, bro.
You don't need to know. It's in the vault. Yeah, you don't need to know.
You don't need to know this, man.
That's exactly what it is. And that's why I'm like, yo, that shit is so weird to me. And it's funny, I was like, I was cleaning earlier and I was like going through like my art stuff. I haven't like gone through it.
Yeah.
Probably since I moved because I had to pack all of that stuff up. I was like, oh, I found my old sketchbooks and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like looking through, I'm like, some weird shit in here. Like there's like one, I'll show it to you. There's like this one page where I'm like, whoever's looking at this or would be like, yo, what the fuck is going on in her psyche? I had like it was like a skeleton of like those lionfish or whatever. I had like a gorilla I drew, another one where it's like a skull but it's like warped and stuff, that almost like with Saturn's rings and whatnot. I'm like, you would think I was like on some shit.
What is happening?
Like taking some wild shit while I was doing this. And I was just chilling.
So it's like whatever came to mind?
Whatever came to mind. And that was when I would like sketch often or draw often.
Yeah.
Like, you know, your mind gets weird.
Yeah. Sure.
It goes into some weird places. But I'm like, I looked at that page and I'm like,
Daniela.
There's like anybody would be like, maybe it's time to talk to someone. And I'm looking at all my other sketches. I'm like, yeah, man, my brain could go in a real weird direction if I really have let it.
Think about that, bro. I think about that a lot.
Yeah, and I feel like with those kinds of like people take like hallucinogens and stuff like that. Like yo, that's like
It's great,
tapping in.
man.
You're opening up that parental
What if the lock
response.
breaks, man?
Lock
You not coming back, B.
That's the thing, bro. And I'm like,
Yeah.
there's enough like mental health shit in my family.
Yo.
Nah.
One of my listen to this though. Are we good?
Okay.
Crazy though, right? You think that it's not, but like you just start talking. One of my tenants, right? Not one of my tenants, thank God. We bought a property like maybe two, almost 3 years ago. We're about to sell it. That's how crazy this bitch was. Cause we went through war. But point is, I met her after we closed on it. She looked a little crazy. And I was like, okay, this bitch is a little off, whatever. I'm trying to like talk to her, but I gotta tell her like you gotta get the fuck out.
Yeah.
But it's like,
But like in a nice,
yeah,
professional way.
exactly. So whatever. Point is, at one point I go over there and she goes, oh, I'm like, oh, I was trying to be nice. I was like, oh, what you up to? She was, and I was when her house, and she was like calling hospitals. I'm like, what's going on? She was like, my sister, who's a fucking doctor. She might be lying about the doctor. Who knows? I don't think she was. But she was like, she's got diagnosed as to have schizophrenia.
Ooh, yeah.
She's like, it runs in my family, blah blah blah. Point is, fast forward, a ton of shenanigans with this lady. Really put me through the ringer. We had to get the sheriff out there, like all that. But when the last time I saw her, I think she was going crazy.
Really? What made you think that?
Well, there was a ton of pills, and she was talking like she was schizophrenic. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, she lost her mind. Like, that man sucks her sister. Like, it legit just runs in the family. It was weird. I guess my point is, like, I'm like, yeah, like, the mind, that's why I get so nervous with shit like that. Because, like, that's it. Like, that lady, that's it. Like, she's unhinged forever. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
She's lost touch.
That's a condition that she's going to have to, like.
Yo, it was crazy. It was in the 2 years. But she was already kind of crazy. But you'd think she's just a regular, like, just.
You think she's just, like, eccentric.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. You're like, oh. Like, and then like 2 years later, I'm like, I think this bitch is like gone. And then she was like, I need my pills. And I was like, oh shit. Like,
it's wild. Sometimes it's like a traumatic thing happens, and then it's like you see them change. Sometimes it's like over time, like things just start to build and stuff. That shit is fucking.
My godfather. You want to listen to a crazy? I'll end it after this.
Okay, cool.
Okay. This is a crazy story. My godfather got killed by a police officer. Listen to what happened.
Here in DR?
In Providence. So, yeah, here in the U.S. Yeah. So, he was, he was a cool guy, awesome guy, blah, 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 whatever. I used to hang out with him. He was I was his godson. He's my brother, my father's brother.
Okay.
The closest one. He had like 10 siblings. So whatever. Things are going okay. Then he decides to move to Providence with his wife. And that was like the first weird thing. He was like a very social guy. And then we all lived in the Heights. So it was like, it was weird. He lived in the
just
Bronx.
picked up and moved.
Yeah. And then he had his son. Like even when he got his son, no one knew. He called us the day that the baby was born to be like, you want to come meet him? Like that. So we already like, that was weird. Whatever, but I didn't think of it. He was living in Providence. They say like it could have been like the cold that provoked them, like something like click. Who knows? They were like, he would always talk about how cold it is and all that over there.
Yeah.
But one day he goes to my dad. He's like, I want to build a house, and he's like, I want the base of the house to be an arm and the hand, and then the house here. So
like, and he meant that.
He was talking to Jenny. So my dad's like, oh shit. Like, you know, especially like at that time, that's like, no one really talks about like mental health or whatever, like now. So, you know, my dad's, the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you know, yeah, like that's crazy, but it kind of ignored it, whatever. You know. So fast forward, little odd. We go see him in the blue. I'm like, this guy's odd. He completely listen to this fucking shit. So he has a machete. He just stabbed. This is a morning. I don't know. I never learned what happened like prior to, but morning of, they have three kids now. So it's like way fast forward a couple of years. But I guess he was progressively getting like crazier.
Right.
No one knew. One morning he like stabs. He was saying that she did something. Who knows? But he stabbed her in the shoulder. Yeah. She's screaming. The
Oh
three kids don't know what's going on. One of the kids calls the cops,
okay.
and I think he's like the cops. I could be getting this part wrong, but like the cops came and then like they were like, "Where's your parents?" Whatever, and like they were like, "Okay, just like
Yeah.
whatever." I think I don't know, but the cop left. I think, and then again, like he was like about to kill the wife. They call the cops again. The kids. I'm talking about like an 8-year-old kid calling the cops, hearing
That's so
his
traumatic.
dad like
Poor kid.
stabbing and whatever his mom's. Then the cops come. They hear the shit. They walk in. This dude's about to, I think, like stab her again after the cops come, and they had to shoot him to kill him.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
bro. I completely forgot about this story.
Holy
Subconscious
shit,
at work.
Bobby,
Yeah.
bro, like that should be popping up. You know,
Yeah,
pops
bro.
up.
That happened. I never forget.
Oh
And
my
then even
God.
while there was, like, I never forgot my uncle called me
Mhm.
and everyone was scared to tell my dad.
Yeah.
So he was like, you should tell your dad. Because I was very similar to you in that,
Yeah.
like, you were probably the one delivering the bad news. Same here. My dad was in DR. I was like, hey, dad, I don't know I don't know how to tell you this. So,
Yeah.
like, yeah, this happened. And he was like, okay. My dad very stoic was like,
Did they ever like do they ever like did you guys ever know like what is it that he had?
schizophrenic. He was a schizophrenic. Yeah. But it was crazy. And then you know what's even crazier, bro? Me and my cousin Steven, when we were driving up or wherever Providence is,
Yeah.
we we couldn't stop laughing. I learned that now that that's a way people cope
Yeah.
with like something very dramatic.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Thought I was just being
So
insensitive.
interesting.
Literally, bro. Me and my cousin, like, we couldn't stop laughing so much that we asked to go to the bathroom, like, make a pit stop in the gas station. We both ran to like the boys' bathroom. I don't know why I said boys. To the men's bathroom, and we just started laughing nonstop. Like,
Wow.
and I'm like, oh, with this how like
so you
now
were
I'm like
coping
we
with
were
it,
dealing with
yeah.
grief. Like this was like how we
Yeah.
dealt with it. Like,
Yeah.
but I'll never forget that because I was like, oh, we're assholes. Like we thought we were badasses laughing at that. I was like, no, motherfucker, you couldn't process what was happening.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And it's like still things like you don't fully understand either.
Yeah.
Right. Or like
Yeah, it was like
your brain is like trying to make
like
sense.
what
out
happened?
Of it.
He got shot. Like what? He was trying to kill his wife. No, he wasn't.
Yo.
Yeah, bro.
Holy
And then, funny
God.
enough, I lost connection with those kids. I was never cool with those kids. They were like a younger generation of my
Yeah.
family, so like, they were nothing to talk about. Funny enough, years later, the oldest one,
That was the one that was calling the cops.
yeah, he is at Small World. He was very, I don't know if they were best friends, but they were very cool. Jesse, Jeremy's brother, Small World.
Wow.
Jeremy's brother and him were boys. And because one day we were playing ball and we needed like more people to
And
come.
like, what?
I was like, Addison? I was like, oh shit. And we connected for a little bit, but like,
Holy shit.
small world. But ran into him, and I always have that, of course, I always have that in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
damn.
that's like things that happen like that you see in like movies or shows.
Yeah, bro.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Daniela.
Yeah.
This was awesome.
It's been real.
Yo.
This is a good one.
Right? This is cool.
Had fun.